Good afternoon. We are beginning the meeting for the Nevada Classical Academy Elko Regular Governing Board meeting for May 19th, 2026 at 2:34 p.m. We'll call the meeting to order and begin with roll call with
Lisa Becker,
Kim Harris,
Amy Nelson,
Randall and Thron,
Tim Geary,
Dorothy Stanninger.
Hank Thurston,
and our guests in the house in the library.
George Braga.
Hattie Garza.
Welcome. And then on the online. And Andrew and Jason, I don't know if Colleen's still there. Is she gone now?
Looks like Colleen's off. Andrew and Jason, can you just introduce yourselves for the record, please?
Are they there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Andrew McBride from CAM NV.
Jason?
Yeah, this is Jason Watkins from Watkins Jackson CPAs.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move a couple things around in the agenda. Oh, public comment. I'm sorry. Let's get through public comment. So is there any public comment on non-agendized items? Okay, hearing none, let's move to 9, new business. A, review, discuss, and vote on any received board member applications. And so I'm going to turn this over to Dorothy to introduce our guest, and there is a letter in the package.
Well, I'd like you guys to meet Patty Garza. All of you don't know her. And she is a very accomplished member and of our community who's done a lot. And we feel grateful that she's have an interest in serving me. Thanks, Patty.
Patty, do you want to share just a little bit about yourself? I'm probably the only one who doesn't know you, right?
I was born and raised in Winnemucca, and generally and schooled in Humboldt County School District, and thought I was going to attend UNR, but didn't. Did a variety of other things, pursued a little bit of aviation, did quite a bit of accounting work, and got a real estate license at one point and stuff like that. So quite a few different things. Over the course of my life, I worked for Kafori Armstrong for 11 years, but I'm not CPA, and also owned and managed small business, which now is, I sold the last of my stock. So I'm officially retired, even though I'm in and out of there because, if they need any help or not. And also served 8 years on the Spring Creek Board of Directors. So familiar with board participation and stuff like that. Currently live in Spring Creek. Moved from Winnemucca to Elko in 94, moved to Spring Creek in 99, and been there ever since. So that's a meal sketch.
Thank you.
So
Excellent. Any questions, comments?
Some of the biggest challenges you remember from serving the Spring Creek Board?
one of the things that I found disappointing was not all board members are equal. And some of them weren't very well prepared. Found that kind of a disappointment. You can't make everybody happy. That's always a challenge, but I always voted what I thought was best for the community, and also paid a lot of attention to who my particular constituents were, even though everybody is. I was on track 400, and so I would pay attention to, basically what they wanted, but also for the entire association itself. Felt happy about the fact that I was able to have good resources. I have some accounting background, some construction background, but also have contacts in all of those places. And so if there were things I didn't understand or didn't feel like I had a good scope of, I would go do some research, and so that I would be prepared to make good decisions.
Marshall.
I have a question.
Yes.
I know you've been supportive of us from very early on, and we appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
I'm curious about sort of what your thoughts are on NCAE and the classical curriculum and sort of your familiarity with what we're doing here at.
Love
you've seen.
Hillsdale College.
Mhm. I saw that in your letter.
When I heard you guys were doing this, I was elated because, you know, I follow a lot of things. One of the things I follow is there's lots of things on the Christian radio station out of Twin Falls. And so of course you get a big overview of different things happening in the country, in people's lives, adults, children, the whole works. And of course, I've been a contributor to Hillsdale College for quite a period of time and love it. Wished I'd have known about it when I got out of high school. My whole trajectory would have been different. But yes, thrilled that this is going like going. I think it's the best thing that's happened to the community. So
Mhm. We agree.
Yes.
That's why we're here. Yeah. That's wonderful.
Patty, do you have questions for us?
I don't think so. I think probably, you know, I would need to do some background work to get up to speed. And so hopefully you've got some documents and different things that I can read through, whenever it's time for me to come and participate. So right now, I don't think I have any questions. So
Would you be amenable to start service on the board by next month? Say if we approved your application today?
yes, like I said, I just retired. Well, I actually retired at the end of June, even though I'm kind of in and out of there a little bit. And I say that I was caregiver for an old dog for quite a while. So the old dog died a couple of Sundays ago. So I'm a free woman.
Yeah.
More
We're
things-
lost.
You know, it's almost like I kind of had to keep an eye on him. It was like dabbling in housework and yard work because the dog, you know, so I'm totally free at this point. Yes.
Very nice.
Well, if it's just by way of, scheduling, we meet once a month, usually the third Tuesday of the month at is it 2 or 3? And I
Two.
Usually two.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any difficulty making it to, I don't think I ever missed a spring creek board meeting.
Actually, I drove Patty out of her garden because she had no idea she was supposed to be here.
Yeah. It's like, oh, she's
Until
doing
10 o'clock this morning.
Yes, I was doing yard work.
Oh,
She
fun.
sent me a text and I'm going, I'm all dirty.
We don't mind.
So,
Wonderful.
The accounting experience will fold in well.
Yes, I know. There's several business
That's
backgrounds.
High school.
Hillsdale, absolutely.
Just curious, because I know there's specific categories that the board has to fill.
Yes.
So which one should?
She fits really well into the expertise of business accounting.
Yeah.
That-
When
she-
Fernando left, we kind of had to shift our fundraising and our PR but we have it all covered even with just 6. So she just will supplement.
Well, Fernando's
Many
was the Hispanic.
But that's not a
Yeah, that's not a
requirement.
requirement.
No.
It was a
Not a state
recommendation,
requirement.
but it wasn't
I
they have to be like specific skill sets, like
Yeah.
legal and
Legal, financial.
legal's probably our
Human
weakest,
resources.
really.
There is in the original charter, though.
Yeah.
That was an expectation.
We're
Well,
also
and down the
working on it.
road,
Because we were targeting. I'm working.
Yes.
We have up to
Yeah.
9. We have up to
Tim has
9
the
we can
lead,
put.
yep, on
Yeah.
that.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
all, that's obviously a goal, but
Yeah.
I mean, all of us agree that we need more help on this board.
Yes.
And with Patty's experience and expertise,
Mhm.
it would be so much more advantageous to us than to just flounder around looking for somebody in a Hispanic role. I just think that's the foolishness.
Agree.
The more the merrier.
Mhm.
Well, and there's gonna be other people that are going to, pass off this board and we can replace that.
Right. But the
we need
business,
to-
the
we need a
accounting,
person that's
the
going to
Hillsdale,
fulfill the role of a Hispanic member that is engaged and active. And it's not just a member, they'll drag somebody off the street. I
right,
mean, we need people like Patty who care about what we're doing.
right. The vision.
no.
Covered.
They named Shepherd and so it's all white.
Got a little bass, I guess, but yeah.
I speak Spanish, but I don't think that's gonna work.
But you're not, yeah.
I got some bass,
If
but
that's
that
good,
doesn't
yeah,
really
that's
help.
good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
shaved my chin. I don't know if that matters. Sorry, back to focus. Okay, Should we call for a vote? I agree.
Just get it in here.
Up to you.
Yep. She's been actively in our discussion since the founding board, so this is,
Well,
there's
like
been some
Lisa said, she's
strong
been so
vetting.
supportive of-
Yes,
From the beginning.
since we started
Financially.
4 years ago, I think, yeah. Okay, so on new business 9A, review, discuss, and vote on any received board member application. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept Patty LaGarza to our, as a new board member to the NCA.
I'll
second.
Okay,
Kim.
so we have a motion by Dorothy, second by Kim. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Okay, unanimously passed. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you need her?
I
Contact
have
information?
her, I think it was on the letter. Was your,
It should have been.
if not, I'll get it from Dorothy and we'll get you connected on the.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Exciting.
Okay, so it is not, but we'll get it. So then we're gonna move to 9, new business C, review and discuss fiscal year 26 financial audit proposal. So on the screen, we have Jason Watkins, who's a Las Vegas company, and he's going to tell us about this fiscal year financial audit proposal.
And there's a copy in your binder. So Jason, they have a copy of your proposal.
Okay, great. So yeah, we've been auditing charter schools well, I have for 25 years, and with my partner for almost 20 years. We worked for other firms and then joined together to form our own firm 10 years ago this June. So we've been on our own for a while now and continue to service charter schools, and we love charter schools. My kids have gone to charter schools, and it's a industry that I appreciate greatly for the options for education out there, and because public schools sometimes struggle to teach what parents would prefer to be taught to their children. So I am passionate about this area and enjoy working there. We audit the other charter school up there in Elko, have for many years, the Elko Institute, and also audit Ely's charter school and 8 or 9 others across the state. So we've audited many charter schools that have had single audits as well, where they've received government funds in excess of thresholds to require additional procedures. We don't prefer doing that work because it's a lot of work, but we definitely do it. But we're glad to hear that you guys didn't have that requirement. So it makes the audit a lot cheaper too on both sides. So questions that you have about us?
Could you just briefly kind of walk us through what that audit process looks like?
So yeah, if you haven't been in an audit before, we would provide a list of requests that we would need and initial requests, and upon receiving those, it's the basic financial statements, trial balance, the schedules that make up the financials and the books, and would go through all of those initial requests and come up with the selections of transactions and trying and gathering information to understand the functioning of the school with regards to accounting procedures and policies, and test those and make sure that the transactions represent what's reflected on the financials of the school. And all the time we're doing this, we're sharing thoughts or ideas that we may have that way the schools may improve, and so we try to add some added value there. But ultimately, we in going through the process and creating the financials and the schedules required, we'll give our opinion in a report on the school and their accounting procedures and their balances and multiple reports actually, because there's control reports too to say, hey, yes, the school is properly keeping track of their accounting records. And it's a back and forth. We try to keep people in the loop on kind of where we're at, and like open items list saying here's where we stand and everything, and here's what we still need, and try to keep that open communication, especially as people learn about how audits function.
Jason, what's the time frame for an audit like this? I mean, how much time does it take you?
So, I mean, if we get things timely that we need, well, a month to 2 months potentially. Just it could be shorter or longer, just depending on how quickly the turnaround is to get what we request. Because there's many schedules and procedures that we have to go through in performing an audit. As you may be aware of, our industry is highly regulated, going way back to Enron and all that, things that went down. So it's like, okay, we need to regulate so we're audited as well. We're subject to peer reviews where we are required to, the auditor's getting audited, right? Making sure that with the audit, things that we're doing represent our industry's proper way to audit. So it really varies. And this is a first year audit. It'll take a little bit longer just to get through, because we're going to have to start with beginning balances, where audits we've done over time, we know we're good with beginning numbers because we audited last year, right? So it'll take a little bit more time and tying both ends of that together. But in meeting with your people, it seems as though you're have things together. So we're anticipating that things would go on the shorter end of the timeline.
And we really don't have student activity accounts. We don't, we have no secondary school or even middle school. So it should be, all of that piece of it wouldn't be there. So that should make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, it does help.
And Jason, when's it like the first call for information? What time, like what month?
Well,
Correct.
I mean, that really depends on, when you feel that your books have been reconciled and finalized on your end, but we have some that are ready by the end of July, right? And then others don't get us things till the end of September, which makes it a little bit more difficult. So we prefer towards the end of July, preferably in early August, because that gives us more time, especially with this being the first year, because there'll be a lot of back and forth just to get an understanding of everything. But yeah, we realize it takes time to close out books and develop schedules for year imbalances and such. So, but as sooner we can get things, the better, because those that give us stuff first, they get first dibs, right? We get their stuff, we start working on it. So first come, first serve.
Okay. Any other questions? So we need to vote to accept Watkins Jackson CPAs, is that correct? Okay, so on 9C, we need a motion to accept the fiscal 26 financial audit proposal by Watkins Jackson CPAs.
Jason, excuse me, but excuse me, guys, but we're approving your account services for a fee of $25,000. Is that correct?
I think it's
They said 24,000, but they
24 actually.
left an exception for travel, and sometimes, so
Okay,
we,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's some
numbers.
travel costs.
Yeah.
That's all.
so should we say 24,000 or we budgeted 25? I don't know. Keep the 24,000, or what do you think?
I think in the budget, we keep the 25.
Okay, just in
Yeah, there
case
will be some travel costs there.
we're distance. Maybe we can coordinate with EIA to,
But that figure is going to stay stable, right?
Yeah, the 24 for the audit side, like I said, we'll be up there for 2 audits. So that does help with some of the travel costs, because we can split it between the two schools as well as Ely because we kind of work our way up that way. So to do
Perfect.
that. So, but the actual fee for the audit, yes, 24 is the fix.
I have a question. Sorry, are we still asking questions?
Yes, sure.
Related to that 25 or $24,000 fee. You said that there, because it's a first year situation, that there will be some additional work required to sort of get established. Does that mean that the next time we need to do the audit, that load would be expected to be less? And the next audit could potentially cost less? I'm looking at the EIAA audit. Looks like it's about $38,000 and they're substantially larger than we are.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're also a single audit. They have federal funds, so there's quite a few different factors that are included in their fees.
Mhm.
No, I mean obviously what it's saying essentially is we've discounted the audit essentially, because we appreciate where you're at with Elko and up there, and we find some efficiencies there. And I wouldn't anticipate the fee rising too much, if at all. We hope to make up efficiencies as we go forward, right? We've gone through the audit, and once we've gone through it 1 year, we save a lot in those procedures the next year. So I wouldn't anticipate much of an increase, if any. And yeah, it has been discounted if we were to include first year audits just to build a relationship and not, and our goal is not to gouge charter schools, but just we'll get through it together the first year and then try not to be raising the fees much at all, if any.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
And from what we said earlier, we did not solicit any other proposals.
Correct.
Yeah, it came right. EIAA plus CAM. Yeah, and
Well,
we
EIAA.
reached
Cam
out to him,
Cam didn't, and Cam wasn't involved in the.
but they work with them. They
recommendation.
currently work with them, I believe, don't they?
I know.
I don't know. I've talked to Jason originally. I made contact with him and we talked about quite a few things, but that was
Yeah,
Couple
Cam haven't, I don't think they've worked with him yet.
okay.
But they
so this
have
will be
always
perfect.
we've had called together,
Yes,
Cam, Watson, Jackson, and us already.
right. That's what it was. That's how we got them connected. So, oh, that's radio. Okay, do we have a motion to accept the proposal?
I'll make a motion to accept the proposal of Jackson Watkins Accounting to do our audit for 2026. fiscal year. A second.
Okay, motion by Dorothy, second by Kim to accept the fiscal year 2026 fiscal audit proposal by Watkins Jackson CPAs. Any further discussion?
I'll say I'll vote for it, but I think in good stewardship of our donors' money, we should be soliciting more proposals for things like this. I understand the recommendation.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? Hearing none, motion passes. And we'll be in touch, Jason.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
for your
Jason.
time. Okay, back to the front. We're on number 3, official guest discourse. Do we have anyone from the parent corps here?
No, but I have an update from the parent corps. Jamie wasn't able to be here today. Hey, before I forget, can you give me back that packet I gave you with the budget? I don't want to lose that.
I have it here, Brandon, if you want me to read it from
Oh,
Jamie.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd
you
be
can
great.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank
Jamie
you.
said she couldn't make the meeting, but she sent a note. The parent corps group raised $1,170 for the school through the grill raffle, which is pretty great. And I don't know if any of you happened to be around in the morning or in the afternoon, but those parents were committed. They were dragging that grill around. They were standing outside in the wind, getting blown away. The tickets were going everywhere. They were begging people for, money, which was great.
Driving down the road.
Yes, traveling down the road. They got a picture of kids in front of it. They did a really nice social post that went up as well. So I think it was a good first real group effort by that team, and we should continue to encourage their enthusiasm because they want to help the school. They want to do work. And they have a good core group who, despite it being May and life being completely chaotic, committed to being here every single day to manage that. And then they did the drawing and Tim Ward won, which was very exciting. They also successfully honored the staff during Teacher Appreciation Week, which was May 4th through 8th. They very generously put together a full week of goodies and thank yous and appreciation in one of the classrooms down there, set it up every day. I didn't actually talk to any of the teachers about it, Brandolyn. I don't know what you heard, but it looked lovely. And I think the staff were very happy to be appreciated. So
But we were spoiled for the week, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's nice.
yeah. And then Jamie also said at this time, we do not have any additional initiatives planned for the remainder of the school year, but they're happy to assist with the creation of the staff lounge over the summer as needed.
Was there the yearbook we put on the back burner because it's too much?
Yes,
Okay.
and there weren't a lot of photos. There were some
Yeah.
other logistical challenges. And I got some quotes, looked at several different ways to design this yearbook. And it's really hard to come up with an elegant solution
Yeah.
that there's enough time. So.
Yes. Okay, thank you for that update. Now we'll move to 4, approval of the minutes. They're in your packet. And for reference, there were a couple of governance standards that we, SPCSA listened to the recordings, and there's a couple things that we need to do better. Most of them fall on me, but one of them is on the minutes. So on the minutes, that we need a summary of the discussions and questions in between each one of those. So maybe just a little blurb like Hank, ask questions about whatever, or we talked about having a retreat, or just a little blurb after each one. So and then mine were to, when I call the meeting and close the meeting, I have to say the time and a couple other things like that, I'm right in the cheat sheet. So looking at the minutes, and then somebody can make a motion after we look at them.
I had a couple of minor edits, which were that Dorothy's last name is misspelled. More than once in here. Once in the present, board members present, once under new business A. It's Stininger instead of Stininger.
And Ninja.
Where
The
a
E and the I are, is that what
9A.
it's supposed to be?
The-
The E and the I need to be
Yes.
flipped.
And then again in 11.
Good eye.
But your name is important.
names matter, yes.
Well, just so you know, I didn't do these minutes.
That explains it.
I
Like you
spelled,
spelled your name wrong.
I spelled Dorothy's name wrong since I've met her.
I know, it's not an easy
Bring
one.
that up.
Some of us have really easy names.
Some sort of a stroke when I was doing.
I figured it wasn't you.
Someday I'm gonna remember E before I.
There you go, breaks the rules.
That's a Brandolin.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Lisa, second by Hank to approve the April 21st, 2026 governing board meeting minutes as amended. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Okay, financial. So we're moving to 5, financial review bank balances with Elko Federal Credit Union for donations and student generated funds account. Hank. Oh, it is nicer in here as far as being able to see this. Yeah, I do like just the heat.
Fan.
All right, so this is our cash on hand report for the month of April. So in the EFCU savings account, again, this is our, the quote unquote donations account. We brought forward 71,473. Had a little bit come in, had 34 go out for a final balance of 37,227 and 15 cents. The EFCU checking was basically just used to transfer some of that money because it comes out of the savings into the checking and then out to wherever it's going. We brought forward a little over 18,000. That 34 that came out of savings went into the checking, and then we took 64 and a half out of the checking for a final balance of I think I did my math right on that.
Minus.
Yeah, no, that is the debit should be a 34,566.97.
Okay,
That 6 should be a 3, just a typo.
then your final balance is
The final
correct.
balance is correct, it's 18,176.
Okay.
So really, that didn't change much. Money went into it from the savings and went out to do good things for the school. Nevada State Bank checking, we brought forward 3,476. This is our operational funding. We put 102,615 into it. We took 109,501 out of it for an ending balance of a negative 3,409.11. That's partly why I was so worked up about the way we're handling the budget, because that shouldn't be happening.
Right.
Organizational checking, very little change, a little money went into it. We started with 8,500. We ended with just a hair over 9,000. The EFCU CD, we made another 1,200 in interest for a final balance of 403,917.
When does that re-up?
July 26th, I believe.
Okay.
So really my intent is that we don't touch that money until July. Like we
Absolutely.
gotta get
Oh, yeah,
through.
no, we gotta survive.
We gotta get through on this number right here. Now, if you look at the comment I made on last meeting's minutes, said, hey, now that the per pupil funding is up, we're going to see slightly lower monthly deficits. That apparently is not the case. We're in the hole almost 40 grand this month. I think the biggest cost drivers on that are furniture, and did that include a lease payment? Yeah, so lease payment and furniture, obviously those are big cost drivers. But
Does the lease come out quarterly? Is that how it works? Okay, so that's a heavy hit.
Yeah.
Once a quarter.
yeah,
Yeah.
And the furniture was funded. We raised money for that, so.
That's part of that transferring that was happening.
yeah.
Yeah.
So money came out because that got put into that EFCU savings
But we
account.
specifically raised additional money
For
to
the
fund that.
Yeah,
So if we subtracted that amount from what we are in the hole, it would show us less.
So
Right?
add 14,000 to that. So we'd be about 25,000 in the hole if we take the furniture.
Which is kind of where we've been all the way along.
About where we've been, yeah.
And a lease payment is 3 months times about 12,000 a month.
11,000.
33,000. So if you take the lease and the furniture out of it, we're profitable. Unfortunately, we have to pay the lease and furniture.
But it just seems like there's always something though.
The furniture is now paid.
Correct.
Interest
Furniture
paid
is-
for.
And that was pretty amazing too, because
Yeah.
we had a long-term plan for that and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the furniture is paid for. We'll.
We
that
still
will
want to
be done
limit
this
that
month.
monthly debt.
Yes,
Yeah.
one of these months we want to go. Yeah.
And that's something that Brandon and I spoke about a little bit is just better on-site management of the budget and things like, hey, this is our income for the month. This is money we're getting from the state. Like, how do we actually distribute that? Let's earmark some of that. We know we're gonna have a lease payment in 3 months.
That's
Let's
right.
set some of that aside.
That's right.
And try to be a little bit more thorough in just how we manage that income.
Yes, like insurance payments, things that are annual, we need to kind of have.
Yeah.
Set aside almost. Yeah, I wonder if we could.
And I am working on just a pretty simple Excel spreadsheet for Brandolin that'll have some different tabs for different accounts that'll track where we are in relation to the budget. So every time money goes out or comes in, it's right there. It's like, hey, you've got 10,000 left on this budget item, or hey, you're over budget now. And that'll help inform those conversations about how do we
Mhm.
manage that cash burn. That's all I've got. Questions?
Is the contract that we set up on the building for a quarterly payment? Because I know Rex and Lee put a ton of energy and they got a heck of a
We got
deal.
a good deal.
They got a really good deal, so we don't want to mess anything up. And I think I like your idea of just getting ahead of all of these annual and quarterly fees and having them
Set
ready.
aside, so it's.
So then
Aside.
we're prepared for them. They
Expecting
don't
it better.
don't surprise you.
Maybe even that means set up another savings account every month, just trickle some of that money in there.
Right.
And then,
And then it comes out,
Yeah.
little escrow account.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Savings management.
And just, for everybody's warm and fuzzy, this money got put back in here. That is positive. And that's partly why I'm being hard on Cam too. And Brandolin, and Colleen and I sat down and talked about that. But, they're just writing checks to pay bills, not really looking at what's in the bank. Brandolin sending them bills to pay checks on, not really looking at what's in the bank. So nobody was really, balancing the checkbook there.
Well, we do balance the check, but there's some lags that we need to get more real-time processing happening.
Yeah, and that was part of my issue with Cam is like, when my business writes a check, that goes on the books immediately. That, double entry accounting, it goes into this expense account, it comes out of my checking account, and like, if that check gets cashed the next day or like 2 weeks later, it doesn't make any difference on my books. Like that money's gone. That doesn't seem to be what's happening here. We discussed with them, is there a way that like Brandolin can go in and look at those books and see like, hey, this is the transaction register for this NSB checking account, and see like, what's the money in here, accounting for all those checks that have been written. And unfortunately, for reasons I don't understand, the answer to that question is no. So that's where we're at.
Well, like any good bookkeeper, you want to have a little buffer because things do come up. We need to have
Right.
about 30,000 buffer. So we're not every month right down to the,
Mhm.
waiting for a check to clear to see if we made it. So,
And in a
again,
year or
once
two,
we
we'll
get
be
ahead,
there.
again, we have to get there.
Right now, we're living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, we are.
And that's something that I think everybody has experienced at one point or another. But that means you have to be careful. You have to, hey, how much money do I have in the bank? How many checks have I written? Can I afford this? Can I not?
Technically, we're not even living paycheck to paycheck. We're getting beat up a little bit, but
Yeah.
We're
So-
dipping into the credit card.
yes, we are. But we'll get there. We're getting there. Furniture's paid off.
Yeah.
One big milestone.
That's a big deal.
That was
Yeah.
a very.
But, we
expensive-
have to be careful not to incur some
Yeah.
new expense that we
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Right,
totally.
deal with. I think
right.
that-
right.
And you're gonna have 2 new classrooms coming in, but she's already been thinking, wait a minute, I've got extra here and an extra here. We don't need to get the 2 full classrooms next year. We need to get some things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. This is the most important thing we need to pay attention to is our finances. Thank you, Hank. B, financial report from Classical Academy Management for Operations Account and Nevada State Bank. Well, Andrew, so who we have?
Yes, Andrew, you're on.
Okay,
Yours is up.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just one sec.
You don't have to
Um,
share your screen because we have it on our screen and they have it written.
Oh, okay.
They have it, that way it's bigger. We can make it bigger on our screen than through you.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll share so at least you know where to go. Just a sec. Can you see it?
For you,
Okay. Um,
it'll be bigger though.
so, oh, do you need it bigger?
Oh, there you go. That's nice.
So this is a financial report for April 30th. This is a balance sheet. So so this cash does include the SGF account. I know you talking about that negative balance. Um, there's a PCFP accounts receivable 66. That's because you guys received the money the month after for the month it's for. Prepaid insurance of 4,750. Rent is 11,000. Supplies is 8,000. Furniture and fixtures 101. Now the furnitures are fixed assets, so they don't go on the statement of uh, net position. So they get depreciated. That's what the depreciation is every month. And so some of those, so these financials are meant to kind of those fixed assets that you buy and things that are kind of one-time purchases. It's meant to smooth out from month to month those type of purchases. Accounts payable 775. All right, moving on. So these are the cash balances.
What is the D up in the very top in brackets to the far right? Did I miss
Oh,
something?
yeah. So that basically says it does not include the EFCU donation account, which has a
Oh,
balance of
got it. Got it. Thank you. I don't.
459. Yeah, and we did talk to the auditors, and because that EIN is the same on those donation accounts, we're working on merging everything into one. They said for audit purposes that we need to include everything that has the same EIN.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to be clear on that one.
You said it. I just couldn't see the little bracket of me. So thank you.
Okay, so here's the statement of activities for the 10 months, and I did try to separate. I know you guys didn't like the professional fees being in one lump, so all these that are marked A, those used to be the professional services, and so I separated out charter management company, janitorial, office, other professional services, and PES. Now, we will, once the year rolls over, we will update this even more so that you guys will get a detail of, and I won't go over the detail in the meeting, but we'll have even greater detail into all these accounts, exactly as the state has them in their chart. So because this is a summary of their chart. So for April, there was 103 coming in, salaries of 69,000 for the month. And then there was a donation transfers of 436 into the account for a change in net assets of negative 7,459. Yeah, and see, this B, there's other professional services that includes that's basically the medical staffing and the therapy. That's mostly what's in there.
What's that? 10%?
Say that again. Yeah, 10%. Yeah, 10%. So I hope that's a little. So I hope that's a little better. And like I said, when the year rolls over, we'll have the summary, but we'll also include the detail. We won't go over the detail in the meeting, but we'll have the detail broken down even more according to the chart of accounts that the state has. So
So
there'll be a
Andrew-
summary and a detail.
So it might be more of a Colleen question, but how does that 10% compare to other public schools that you guys manage?
Yeah, I think that's a Colleen question. From
Yeah,
what
I figured it was, yeah.
Yeah, for what I understand though, it depends because some bigger schools also they have staff, you know,
Yeah, they can absorb some of it, but-
yeah, in-house staff. Yeah, and I think at least from what I've seen, the biggest kind of area of focus is to, and I know this has been discussed previously, but it's to have a wait list, to have a wait list because your biggest expense is going to be your salaries. You can see that it's 58% of the total expenses. And kind of all the other expenses, rent, I feel like usually rent's like 20%. So I think some of these other things um, are in line. So the real key is to have the wait list so that you can have a good teacher to student ratio because as we went over in the budget, every student, that's $10,000 a year, right? So making sure that your biggest cost and the ratio of students to teachers is how you get, the biggest component of balancing the budget. So it really is wait list compared to the teacher breakdown, if that makes sense. So, okay. And then, so this is the budget year to date, and so I broke these categories down here as well. So it does, everything does look in line, except supplies looks over, and then there's professional services. I don't think in the original budget it was budgeted for the therapy. I know we had discussed that, so that's what is causing the variance there. And then here's the updated pie chart based on certain expenses. And I also broke this down so you could see janitorial CAM, other professional services. So I think that's a little better. And like I said, once the year rolls over, it's going to be even in more detail because we'll have this summary and then we'll also send you the detail. And like I said, we won't go over the detail, the summary in the meeting, but at least you'll have the detail and then you can look at that as well. So I hope that was a little more broken out for you this time around.
So for non-educated, 60/40 is like an ideal split between salary, and a lot of districts, its salaries are even higher, because they have veteran teachers and staff. They may have a little more administrative overhead. So our pie chart's not bad. It's just like he said, we don't have the student enrollment numbers to make it.
Yeah.
We don't have enough kids in each one of those classrooms to offset some of the negative costs.
Insurance is a smaller percentage than I'd like, or than I'd expect, which I like.
And rent
It's
is
good.
smaller.
And rent is
Yeah.
smaller, which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so the insurance it's not medical insurance. It's kind of like professional insurance, like general liabilities.
Yeah,
GL.
building insurance.
Yeah, the medical insurance. So the salaries and benefits is in there. But yeah, I think that's the challenge for schools starting out is to have enough funds to get to the point where they have the wait list. Because once you have the wait list and you have a little bit more control of you have this many teachers and oh, I need 6 more students. Okay, I can just pull from the wait list. If you don't have a wait list, that becomes challenging. And the biggest component of your expense, which is salaries, it is not being absorbed by the proper amount of pupils that for which the state sends money for, if that makes sense.
Right.
So if you can get to, I know the second year we've increased but hopefully the third year you got a good wait list and you have the ratio of students to teachers is optimal so that you have the exact amount of revenue coming in to cover all your expenses, enough revenue to cover all your expenses from the per pupil funding. And then everything after that is just, bonus and helps you build a reserve. So, okay. So that was helpful. This is just the draft that we had originally had of the amendment. All right. Any questions for me? Okay, I think that's it if there's no questions.
Thank you, Andrew.
I guess while we're in financial, do we need to put on next month's agenda to put together a committee?
Let's put it as a discussion item with possible action.
Well, we already
Okay.
have a financial committee.
We
Oh, you already have it? We've already approved it?
We've already
so-
done that.
Okay, perfect.
Stand it up.
Okay, perfect. All right. Excellent. Any more of those or is that it? Two of them?
Just two.
Okay, so we'll move on to 6, school leader report. And Randall, it's all you.
All right. There's a copy in your binder.
Yeah, it's a 2-pager.
And we can talk about this format. I don't know if I'm a fan now that we're through the first year, but we could talk about what you guys want to see in this report. But let's go through it and then we can have that conversation. So fostering classical education. So I'm reading a book called Reading in Classical Education, which was written by a philosophical anthropologist, which is quite fascinating. And I'll share some of the insights of that. I think it will change how we do special ed in our school, and it will change how we perceive all of our students. Very interesting. I'm loving it. So report from this year with all of the staffing and such. So we do have a teacher on administrative leave until further notice. And for next year, 26-27, I am starting to get some lovely resumes for teachers and aides. So we'll be starting to set up those interviews so that we can fill the positions that we have. We'll talk about numbers in a little bit. What we're hiring for is still a little bit up in the air with regard to our numbers. Observapalooza, which was that week of May 1 through 7, where every aide and every teacher was in every classroom for an extended period of time over several days, went really, really well. We had a wonderful AAR after action review the Friday of that week. Some really great conversation about shared language, shared practices, shared expectations, and understanding why it's important in our school. So that was a lift, but we did it, and I think it was super helpful. Oh, I think I said C summary, but I don't think I actually gave you the summary. I'm now realizing. I'll put that in for next time. It was a list of questions and things we've observed. I can actually show it if you guys
you can
care.
pop it up on the screen if you
here,
want.
well, maybe that's
Find it.
a big ask, maybe. I think it's this one. Yeah. Oh no, this was our form. So this is the form we use to take the observations. Every teacher, all that week, every teacher taught a literacy or a handwriting lesson. And so we were specifically looking at handwriting and how we are similar to handwriting, what's similar and what's different. Here we go. So here's some of the things that we observed. So again, a team of 4 of us, myself and two aides and a teacher, went into a classroom for half an hour. And during that half hour, that teacher was to include handwriting into their whatever it is they were doing, so that we had that common thread through every classroom, through every lesson we observed. So these are just some of the things we observed. Strong use of handwriting language, repeating of phrases, like our things like we say we're comfortably close but not touching the margin. These are things that students are used to hearing about handwriting. Checking for understanding throughout the classroom was happening. Check marks just means that we observed it more than once. Standardization of like when kids are ready, they put their pencils down, they clasp their hands. We have this thing called ready position that we're working on. Some of our seat stacks were neat and orderly. Others of our seat stacks are exploding. So we have some variation within our school. Positive reinforcement being given in a real immediate time. conversation about the why of language. These are all things. Our second grade teacher, they're being introduced to fractions and she counts down using fractions, which is amazing that she keeps it straight. And the kids are asking like, what does that even mean? So she's helping them understand the nuances. Anyway, so these are some of the things we observed. And then these are the questions we had. And this is what we did at the AAR is we actually went through all of these questions one by one and we talked about it. So for example, number 2, so what the teachers and the aides observed is some classrooms, kids just get up and do their thing. Other classrooms have these hand signals. And so as a school, we decided year 2, we will all have the same hand signals in every classroom and kids will not be able to just get up and walk around because you can see how that would cause problems next year. Like, well, that's what I did with so-and-so. Right. So we're trying to standardize. One of our goal is to decrease chaos in our school, and chaos is caused by non-similar expectations. We talked a lot about tracking who has participated. So this is like that maximum participation, the maximum amount of time. And are we calling on the same students over and over? Or are we actually, every student in that classroom has to be ready because you never know when you're going to be picked. So we had conversations about that. Phonograms, we were using phonograms. Some of us were only saying the phonogram, the actual like a or ah instead of I see. I try to show off and then I get tongue-tied. Ah, a, ow is the letter A is the 3 sounds are ah, a, ow. Every time we're talking about the letter A, we should be saying ah, a, ow, but sometimes we get lazy and we just say ah, right? So we talked about that. What are our expectations? Spelling words, seat sacks, like I said, that's a whole interesting conversation. Organization. Anyway, so you can see these are the things all the way down to we noticed that we are not all teaching the letter D the same way, which again causes confusion when you're 5 or 6 years old. That will blow your mind. So we talked about why is that important. And we made some decisions as a staff. Curvy Y versus curvy Y, which is like this, right? So you're setting them up to hook in for cursive versus old fashioned, maybe Y as a V, right? Some people would say, does it really matter? I would say it absolutely matters when you want to be the best school in the world. So we talked about these things. Another one that you would not believe the time we spent is the dotted line on the T and the F a little bit above, or is it on the dotted line? Because again, as adults, we get it, but as a 5 or 6 year old, it matters. We need to teach it consistently so they don't go to the next classroom and lose their mind. That's not how Mrs. Paris taught us, right? Because that's what we hear. So
that matters in physics when we've got like so many variables that are all T. I will literally write T's in different fonts.
Yes, it matters. So details matter. We had lots of conversations about details matter. Same here. This is an access literacy thing. So when you think of words like leopard is a think to spell or a 2-way word. So we spell it different than we say it, right? We spell it leopard and we say leopard. Some teachers saying, oh, it's a think to spell words. Other teachers are saying it's a 2-way word. Again, as an 8-year-old, that blows your mind. We as adults can figure that out, but 8-year-olds can't figure that out. So we have to consistently say, and based on our curriculum, that would be a 2-way word. Okay. So no longer do we say think to spell. Everyone in this building should be saying it's a 2-way word.
Okay.
So anyway, these are what exciting things happened out of Observapalooza.
Did you come up with Observapalooza?
I did. I was thinking, what do we call this thing?
Love it.
That is such a brand.
I know. I'm like, tell me, because it's so brilliant.
It was fun. And we had a whole schedule, and it was actually cute because where did my thing go? I would get caught up doing my administrator stuff and I'd look up and there'd be 3 people standing in my office and I was like, yes. And they're like,
let's
time
go.
to observe. I'm like, oh, let's go.
Come
So
on.
they were actually really on top of it. They loved getting the opportunity to be in each other's rooms and see how it works. And okay, now I have to find, where did my report? So any questions? We'll do Observapalooza again. Joe and I talked about it this morning. Next Observapalooza will happen in the fall and we'll be focused on checking for understanding, because as a whole, we notice that we don't all check for understanding at the same way, at the appropriate time. Like we have room to improve on that. So that's what we'll go for in the fall. And we'll do probably a similar process as we are building our culture and building our what we do inside this building, this thing we call school. And if you want to participate, let me know. I'll put you on the list for next year. Observapalooza. Parent communication. Oh, I can update this. I was waiting. 1170 for library. So loving our little parent corps. They spoiled us rotten. And Renee and I have been spending a lot of time thinking about parent communication for next year and how to improve that. And again, just some of the strategies for parent engagement in general. School handbooks is one of my goals that we set after the evaluation, so we can talk about that in a little bit. Relationship with the board, I think we're all still well. State public charter school. So this was really interesting, and I'll try to explain this as fast and as accurate as I can. You all will remember that like back in March, we applied for the enrollment amendment to reduce our numbers. And then we start seeing our numbers came up. So then SPCSA and I had several conversations. And so what we decided to do was to amend the amendment. So we only adjusted the number for 26, 27, and we put all the future numbers back to our application numbers. So hopefully, as we are catching traction, we won't have to do another amendment. And then I applied for the 25% above expected enrollment so that we hopefully will get a check in July that will be representative of the enrollment we expect in August.
Okay.
So hopefully that all works out as planned. It was a process, but I think we have everything in place that we hopefully will be functioning at a higher per pupil payment each month, and it will align closer to who we have in the building when we start in August. Any questions on that?
That sounds like a great plan.
Yes.
It was a little confusing, but thanks Danny Peltier, is that how we say his last
Yes.
name? At SPCSA was wonderful to work with, and we just kept going back and forth until we got to a good solution. And Melissa was involved in all that too. K-12 program, nothing to report there other than I did order our additional program guides just the other day. So they'll be coming for all our new staff.
Do we know anything about member versus what's the
curriculum?
versus-
No, I don't have anything to report on that. I need to talk to Ben.
Yeah.
I did ask Eric when we talked to him, but he didn't.
He has no time frame or
Well, it
Guidelines,
Yeah,
or-
Ben's the one that could answer that question. And
okay.
Eric got a new job. I mean, he's still there, but he's working in a different part of that.
Okay.
So he's not the guy. Answer it.
Thanks to the support of this group and the awesome mentorship of Joe, we finished Grand Canyon this week or last week, I guess. So high five to Joe for doing all the paperwork he had to do and working us getting that through.
Good job.
Yeah, that feels amazing.
Now you have so much extra time on your
I
hands.
do. I was at first a little like, wait, what do? I don't have homework.
What?
For 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I had a little
then
twist. So I'm super excited to get that time into the school, like lookout
Yes.
school. Budget, we are, like Hank said, I appreciate all the conversation that was happening about the budget because this has been a heavy burden that I've been trying to figure out. And so I love that you guys are like, aha, let us be part of this. So we can work on it together and can just continue to solve problems. And now we have a year's worth of data that we can use to help inform decisions. And I think we're all starting to understand the strengths and the weaknesses of the systems that we have in place and what needs to change. So I'm thankful that we can start to coalesce and I don't necessarily have to carry this alone because it has been quite burdensome. State testing, hallelujah. And we gave all of our third graders a $5 fizz card because we had 100% during the week of SBAC, which is huge because that means we don't have
That's
to do makeup
amazing.
tests.
Yeah.
So kudos to Mrs. Mars who
Wow.
helped those kids and most important, those parents understand how important it was to get those kids here.
That's huge, Brandolyn, because that means they didn't have, a lot of kids have anxiety and
Mhm.
apprehension around testing and they get sick, kinds of things to
Mhm.
avoid.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact they all came is very impressive.
Unfortunately, yesterday in second grade, 3 students threw up
Yes.
and didn't get.
We won't have that.
But that's more typical, like especially SBAC, 'cause that one's
It had
even more
nothing to do with
serious.
the testing.
Yeah.
No, but typically you don't have, that's amazing.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
We really work hard and
Yay.
even
And they took their time and very
as
nice.
far as I know. And then right now we're actively, that's why we're up here, we're actively doing map growth testing right now for all the grades. And so we won't have the 100% attendance because we had the vomiting issue yesterday.
Yeah.
However,
My daughter may have been on the list.
It wasn't on the computers, we're fine.
however, we have a beautiful school culture that's growing, that test day is not any other day. It's nothing we need to get excited about.
Right,
Because we have been preparing for this our whole year.
yes.
So show up and show you're awesome. And I had one kid tell me today, like, you're not going to believe the awesome I'm going to show. And I'm like, I can't wait to see it.
I love it.
Show it to me.
I love
So
it.
we're really working on not making it stressful.
Yeah,
Like, it's just time to show off. This is what you've been training for.
that's right.
This is your job, man. Okay. Enrollment, we dropped this kid. We're down to 988. Nothing to do with us, a scheduling, driving commitment, resource commitment on the family side, not the school side. So we have 88 students. This number is consistently changing every day, but what I decided to report are confirmed students for 26, 27, meaning that we have, if they are enrolled, they have filled out that I am coming back and I have updated my information. If they are new applicants, we physically have their enrollment paperwork. So, oops, get out of there, Copilot. So we have 32 confirmed, but I did feel like I needed to let you know, we have 42 applied for kindergarten. So Renee
Okay.
is continuing to
That's
work with
awesome.
those families.
Yeah.
26 confirmed first graders, 29 confirmed second graders, 23 confirmed third graders, and 18 fourth graders. And I think this fourth grade number actually went up because I saw one come in and I saw family come in.
So we won't have 2 first grades next year.
So this is the question of the
Oh,
year.
Oh, you're gonna do it combined.
And we're waiting a little bit longer,
Yeah.
before we commit to which direction we're going and how we're going to handle this. So stay tuned. That's all I can say right now.
Yep.
Because we're going to watch and see how these numbers pan out when, as the summer kind of proceeds along.
Is this a thing, sorry, not being in the education world, can you hire a teacher and say, we're not sure if you're going to teach first or second grade, but it will be one of these 2 for sure, and they'll sign a contract in the timeline that we need them to sign the contract?
I mean, sometimes the first day of school, we're moving people
Yeah.
around. I know that
Okay.
sounds, you didn't, it's like,
This
sorry,
happens.
these people showed up and these ones didn't, because
Yeah.
you never know.
Fantastic.
And this is happening all around Elko County right now because of what changed the
Schools,
zoning,
yeah, they've
the
done all
school
kinds of
choice.
stuff.
And so schools right now are blowing up all around. We are not alone in this, trying to figure out what is our classes looking like, because every school is changing right now. So
And
this
it
is-
happens every year.
Yeah, it's all
Okay.
very,
Like when I was in
So-
Washoe County, it was economically dependent, when the times were good, people were moving out of the valleys and into the nicer houses, and then when times are tight, you're moving back in with grandma and grandpa, and you don't know until they show up day one,
Day one,
and then
yeah.
you're going, hey, guess what?
So
Yeah.
we're gonna just kind of feel this out over the summer and see what.
Solid numbers though.
It's
just
good
try
problem
do
to
it
have.
combined.
This is not a bad thing.
Okay, a 1, 2 together or something.
They're certified K-8, so
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and they can move.
whatever you assign.
Great.
isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as that's something they're used to and they're not gonna go, well, I can't do it unless you tell me exactly.
And do your best to play to their strengths.
Yep.
Yeah, put your most flexible
sometimes
people in that
that
wiggle
doesn't
room,
Yeah.
teacher. Yeah.
It's real fun in secondary.
Blast. Look forward to it every year.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, especially, yeah, when you get 6 people that sign up for an elective, you're like, sorry.
you're gonna have to have you do something.
Yeah.
So we turned in our final Everything Elko article. So that was 6 of 6. And then we've requested a PDF of all 6 of those articles because it dawned on me that would be lovely for our donors. Lovely to give to people who are curious about the school, because we kind of stepped through some of our processes, even though I couldn't claim NCAE in the article. If you've read them, you can definitely tell we're unique. So they're wonderful for our could be really useful for donors and people who are interested in our school.
And they're beautifully written, Brad.
So,
Yeah.
well, thank you.
So well written.
Well, Tim and Lisa are part of the team. We're the Elko,
Yes,
everything
do.
Elko
Really
team.
everything Elko's behind the
Yes.
scenes.
Wow.
Yeah, we're a good team. And then we, as Rex had suggested, we're getting close. Lisa's finishing up the end of year letter to our current families. And then we will publish a letter that I will write in the Elko Free Press to the public saying thank you for our first year. So we're going to schedule to plan that to be off like literally the last day of school, right around there, that'll go out to the whole community from the school saying thank you. And then Lisa will make sure that every family gets a letter.
Is there a little snippet of that you could put into some type of a social media that we could get out to all the Elko pages?
Yeah, I think we can PDF the whole thing and
Yeah.
and put it out and talk a little bit about
15,
success.
20,000 people on one
Yep.
social media page is huge.
Yeah.
And by Lisa's gonna get these out. Lisa brought these to this meeting, so everyone can stay for 15 minutes and help me fold and stuff the envelopes.
All right.
And on
Little
that
production
note,
line.
Yes.
folding and stuffing, we had our first graders fold and stuff a letter, and we taught them how to write return addresses and put stamps on. And it was
Okay.
actually we pulled a specific group of first graders out and we had them work on our letters, Renee and I, and it was quite the effective little assembly line. So we could also have them be part of the process. That's part of us building our culture, right? That kids get to be part of this.
Yeah.
And it was so cute.
And
I
so
bet you
does
that
the
was a
board.
challenge too.
Yeah, we don't
And
have
this-
time for that. The board's doing it now.
Another beautiful thing about an elementary school, like how hard is it to put a stamp on? Way harder than I thought it was.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I have forgotten, even though I had one son who's now 20, I forgot that I must have taught him that at some point. Like, no, scooch it over, make sure it's all the way on.
Not upside down.
Not upside
The
down.
envelope's not upside down.
all the little edges down.
Things. I love reminding how much we have to learn.
Mhm.
Disciplinary policy is related to the behavior report that we'll go over. That will be updated. Expansion committee, you guys, we have got to start thinking about life after year 3 because it's happening. All of the hard work you put in to create a school, it's coming to fruition. But that means we will not fit in this building for very long.
I know.
So we need to probably really start thinking about that expansion team standing up. So that's that report. Now I've added, based on your all evaluation of me, we created the 2 operational goals and the 2 leadership goals, or instructional goals. So I just have put them in here. Again, if you guys don't like this, just tell me. Otherwise, we'll just keep it this way. But so one of the operational goals is financial fiscal sustainability. SPED, in the last month, we've added 4 SPED kids to our caseload. So we definitely need to have a conversation about SPED and how that impacts our fiscal sustainability. Student handbooks, working with regional professional development program to create an improved student handbook that better aligns with our mission and vision. We are going to use a school-wide planner to better track behaviors, positive and negative. And that's one of the reports you'll see, like, we are not doing positive behavior. We're very still in the negative. We've got to switch that. So anyway, we're working with a company to get this so that every child has the same, which is also helpful for families, that we're not sending different messages from different classrooms.
So that's a student planner?
This will be a student planner. Yeah, and it'll have our values. And so like the layout will look a little bit different, but this would be like a week, and then there'll be a column over here that has our virtues, and teachers will be able to mark when they're excelling in the virtues and when they need help in the virtues, and it'll all be on one page. So it's super simple. The teachers help design it. We work together. So anyway, we're hopeful that'll help communicate strongly who we are and continue to work on that. Instructional leadership. the one thing I definitely did not do as well as we want to do better is observing and evaluating our certified staff. And so I'm working with RPDP to create that process for next year. And we've talked a little bit on and off about using NEPF. I think we'll go ahead and use NEPF, but we're going to use it like on a smaller scale to get started because I can see the writing on the wall that charter schools will have to probably use this soon. So we might as well just start learning it and doing it, but we can do it at our own pace and in our own way. So these two practices that I've selected right here, these are specific to maximum participation by students, maximum amount of time. And that's what we're into here. So
Perfect.
there you go. That's how I chose those two standards. And then professional development, I'm super excited to have every Friday half-day school, half-day training because we can really nail into some of these professional development needs that have been identified this year. Mandated, we'll do 6 sessions of science of reading training, which I'm super excited about because it can be a controversial topic, but any knowledge that gets us to be better teachers of reading is going to help every child in our school. Science of hope will bring in, this is kind of naturally rooted in who we are, but there's some great science that we can bring along that kind of is, you can think of it like the bedrock of who we are. And then we have our virtues and then our instruction. So this we'll be training on all of this in addition to the curriculum and classical education. All of this will be every Friday is getting mapped out.
Is the beginning of the year training, is that still going to be down in Las Vegas with
Yes.
founders? Okay.
Yep, teachers, certified teachers, and quite a few of our instructional aides have requested to go down this year. So
Okay.
yeah, that'll be really great.
Okay.
And with a year underneath their belt, they are going to have fantastic questions to ask because they actually have done it. Last year, they were just kind of
Overwhelmed.
glazed over.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where the school, from my perspective, stands right now. Any questions?
Do you want to experience the NEPF as well? Administratively, because there is that,
Mm-hmm.
so it can kind of be,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so
We
we'll sit
probably
down,
should
maybe
transition into that.
We can sit down and start that.
And there's
way.
a whole new, so this is how I know kind of where we're headed with this, because through RPDP, there's a whole principles course on NEPF that the entire state has to be trained on.
Mhm.
And then there's the principal supervisor course. So we should be able to, we should be able to get the access to these resources. And that's why I'm saying I suspect NEPF is coming to charter schools. Right now, charter schools aren't required to use it, but I anticipate that maybe changing.
So that would change the way we do our evaluations. So
Yeah.
what I'll do is get all of that prepared and maybe in a summer session, we'll go through it.
Yeah,
And the nice thing is she's already got a goal, so she's a
yeah.
little ahead of the game.
We're kind of, and it might change how we do this too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can do better. And
Okay.
that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all unless there's more questions.
You brought up at the very beginning that you weren't sure how you feel about this layout. Do you want us to discuss that now, or is that like a next month or after school's out?
If you want to give feedback, that would be great. If you guys want to do that.
I'm just curious if there's anything in particular that isn't doing it for you.
It just feels, for me, it feels long. Like I was trying to sit in your shoes thinking, oh, she just rambles on about the school for days. But that's probably because I'm living it.
Yeah.
So,
And we want to hear about the school.
Yes.
so if it works for you guys, then we can keep doing it. I just don't want you to feel like, why does she give us all this information?
Personally, I love this format.
I like
I
it.
think it gives
Okay.
us a well-rounded, and
Okay.
you might forget something.
There's
if you didn't
suggestions
have
you
it.
have to
No,
change it a little bit, that
Yeah.
definitely open to you.
no. Like I said, I just was thinking, gosh, it feels like so much.
And maybe we add the section on NEPF, so then we're,
Okay.
like where we are in the process each time.
We can start kind of training, informal training on that a
And
little.
then it's not the end of the year surprise, here's your,
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Let's
do
get-
that.
here's your evaluation scramble, yeah. It's ongoing. You guys will prefer that because it's an ongoing with observations and different things.
And I look at this and it still aligns with the best practices
Yes.
of a classical school. So I think that makes sense. If anything, because we like to hear about the school, I would just say we could add a couple of lines at the bottom for
Okay.
any other topics that don't fit in really easily.
Okay.
And student data, if you have updates,
Oh,
that might
okay,
not
yeah,
be
we
every
can have
month.
that now.
Yeah, because you'll actually have some growth stuff for us.
And maybe a specific place to call out any additional wins or issues.
Okay.
And again, not to add
Plans.
more, not to add any more work, like not something that has to be filled in, but if there was one more spot where
Okay.
if we're seeing consistently that there's something that, oh yeah, I should have updated them on that.
Okay, I like that. I already got some really positive news from our map growth. I won't share with you,
No, you
but
gotta
from
wait.
third grade,
Anticipation.
it's pretty good news.
Next year we'll actually have growth on
So
the
yes,
SBAC too.
encouraging.
MAP stand for.
I
What
don't
does
know
it
what it actually
measure?
stands, academic something.
Performance.
Performance.
It does show the growth, huh?
Yeah.
I used to know.
Hey.
I can't read 5 years ago. I don't know what I have for breakfast.
It's one of those acronyms that everybody just knows.
Measure of academic
Proficiency,
progress.
performance.
Starting calling out the.
There's no S. It's
NW, there's
Measure. Are you ready,
NWEA in
Dorothy?
front of it.
It is measures of academic progress.
Oh, see, we got it.
Progress,
One of us had one.
And everybody says maps, and it's not. It is map
Map,
testing, and
map
Map.
testing.
it is map testing, not maps.
Good, well, I'm glad to know what MAP testing is.
Yes,
Maps,
Measures of
geography.
academic progress.
yes,
Yeah, progress, that's a good word.
No
Okay.
S needed.
Nice to know that our students are progressing.
yes.
Map.
Okay, thank you for the school leader report, Brandon. We really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Committee reports, there are none. Old business, none. New business, we've already done A and C, so we'll move to B and review results of the positive behavior intervention observation report.
Okay, again, this is something we could spend a lot of time on, but we will hit the high points and let's see, where am I headed? Trying to talk and drive.
Holy moly.
So here's the full report. This is what was sent to you. Michelle and her team from Crossroads Behavioral came in over about a 3-week period and was all different times of day in all different classrooms. And the goal and the purpose of this assessment was to understand where are we doing well as a brand new school, because this is the time we can set our culture, we can set our expectations. Where are we doing well and where are some obvious behavior problems happening? Because the thing about behavior is it's never one person. It's always the adult and the child. There's an interaction, and you have to be able to learn to recognize your role in whatever is happening. And we never, ever, ever just blame the student. We always ask, well, we are learning. And I want our staff to always ask, what is my role in this? What is the student role? And how do we come together to minimize negative behavior? There's also just gads and gads of research. And we all know that when we come at behavior from a positive manner, it's much more effective. And one thing I've really been thinking a lot about in our school, what we really want to be moving from and training our kids is from compliance to character. So compliance is where we start. Like, you do this because this is the rule and this is the expectation. But really where we want to move our students is when we launch them out of our school, they are behaving because it is their character, not because they quote have to. And that's a shift, right?
Yeah.
That is a shift there's a whole bunch of developmental stuff that has to happen. But if we start thinking as a school that our responsibility is to train from compliance to character, that will change how we interact with our students. So that's what's kind of the behind all of this. And Michelle is one of our local experts in behavior, so we took advantage of her expertise. She talks a lot about what they did, how they did. Bottom line, we have room for improvement, but we are also doing some things great because we have this really strong culture component that most schools may or may not have with our virtuous living. So we go back to our mission, academic excellence, virtuous living, civic responsibility. That virtuous living and civic responsibility allows us to train into this naturally, right? That's part of why we're attracted to this model. So that's what this report just talks about, all of this. They used a bunch of different tools. All of this will be used to update our student handbook, our parent handbook. It also will influence our employee handbook, and it will influence how we handle discipline and training. So you can read this at your leisure, but she did provide us some lovely, what are these things called? Infographics. So this Farmington, this is one of the tools that she used. It's a Farmington assessment. So here you can see things like where things were happening. So does not meet means we're not doing it. Partially met, or we're meeting in the classroom. So students appear engaged with the lesson. 20% did not appear engaged, 80% met, right? So you can kind of read through these things and see where our strengths.
Just for clarification on that data, it says percent classrooms above the does not meet and the meet. I was trying to understand how to read this. Does that mean 20% of the students in a classroom weren't doing it, or 20% of the observation time?
So I think they by classrooms. So 20% like of the classrooms of the school, 20% of the classrooms. So we have 5 classrooms.
One of the classrooms.
So one of the
will not
classrooms
meet the
Didn't
threshold.
meet it.
So
Didn't
when
meet.
it says students appear engaged with lessons and it says does not meet, so the 20% will not, will not engage.
Was
But
one
80%
classroom.
will.
Classroom.
One
Where the
classroom.
students
One
were
classroom.
not
Right.
engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So high amount of time on task, 60% were not. So that's something, right? That's a like an eyebrow raiser. What's going on and how do we increase time on task? There and any one of these, there's lots of factors that go into this, right? And these are just snapshots. But it gives us some, it gives us an idea of what's happening in our school. High expectations for all students. This is like a good one. We saw this consistently. Monitored. Attention getting strategies are used. I'm hearing more and more yelling, which is not appropriate in our school. So that's training for the adults. We don't yell. We have other attention getting strategies that we need to be
And
employing.
it probably increases as the year progresses.
Yes,
Wow.
there are definitely
I
that.
can understand.
Everybody's ready.
Proximity, this is a huge one. This is training
That's a good
teachers,
one.
right? Proximity means how close you are relative to a student when you're redirecting. So there's definitely some room for improvement. And so again, this type of data drives the training that needs to be done for both the adults and the students.
I have another data question.
Yeah.
On the right side there under teacher behaviors,
Mhm.
you have at the top 40% didn't meet, 60% partially met, and 60% met, which is a lot more than 100%.
Oh, that's more than 100. I'll have
And
to,
that's,
yeah,
there's
80.
several of those.
Yeah,
in
there
that
are.
column.
Good catch. Yeah, we'll have to
Yeah.
ask Michelle. I did not catch that.
That's what
I didn't look at these
That's what
infographics very much.
Did the teachers see this?
The teachers will see this on Friday. We have a meeting.
good,
We
yeah.
have a meeting with Michelle. So another tool, she used PBS Tier 1, classroom interaction data, same kind of similar concepts. Things that are not in place. Some of it's because we're a brand new school. Some of it's because we're figuring out what we're doing. Some of it's because we need more professional development. This is bothersome, and this is what we have to change. We're interacting with our students more negatively than positively, which is also very common until you're trained and you're recognizing the power of seeing a student walking down the hall and saying, "Hey, Johnny, great job walking down the hall today." Right?
Yeah.
Like that matters, but we don't typically do that until you realize how important that is. And that's a staff training thing, that we are catching kids doing the right thing versus waiting for them to have to redirect them. Right? So this is just staff training that we have to do. And making sure we're paying attention to that. And that comes back to tracking that you're interacting with every student every day, because we're humans, we just naturally attract into those we naturally attract to, and then we're missing all these, right? And so making sure as educators every day we're connecting with every child and what that looks like.
So is there some sort of standard plan? I'm looking at this inappropriate behavior is redirected or stopped. So does everybody know how to redirect or stop inappropriate behavior?
That's what we're going to be working on.
So no is the answer.
Right.
I would say there's not a way, there's many ways. But
Some
we
of it's
decide
our-
what that looks like. in
Like our
school.
blueprint, when somebody can't read, we teach. When somebody can't, calculate well, we teach. When somebody can't dribble a basketball, we teach. When somebody doesn't behave, we punish.
Yep.
Like we're hardwired toward it. We don't think with little kids, maybe they don't know it. Let's teach it. We go right to punishment. So it's really hard when we first started working on that, it's just we're hardwired to discipline, to line somebody up, and not realizing they may not even have the skill because they're 7 or they're 4 or they're 5 or whatever. So yeah,
And so discipline is inappropriate then?
discipline, if you do it by teaching, has better outcomes than if you just punish.
Training.
Well,
Turn around, sit down. Like if you teach them, hey, when it's time to use the bathroom, we're going to use this hand signal, whatever it's going to be. We're not wired that way. We're wired to discipline and punish when somebody misbehaves. Whereas if somebody's struggling with a math concept, it's easy for us to go, oh, we need to spend a little more time helping Kim with her addition.
But so I read
So,
this
yeah,
thing.
It's
today
tricky. This is
several
the hardest
times.
part.
It
Yeah.
wasn't easy.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't understand what you're reading. But the reason I particularly asked, it seemed like that consistently through that report, it said that, and that's why I picked that one, but it seemed to say that one of our weaknesses is that we need to put plans in place for specific outcomes.
Yeah.
So whether it's behavior or teaching or discipline or whatever, there's a way that every single person is going to handle that issue.
Right.
So am I understanding that correctly?
There is a structure in which we do that. Yes. I don't know if it's there's a structure in which ways are done. Correct. Yes.
Okay, because it mentioned that several times.
Yeah.
That was one of our deficiencies.
Yep.
Was inconsistency.
Exactly.
And the teachers haven't seen this yet either.
They haven't seen any of this. They'll
Okay.
see all of this
is
on Friday.
powerful right here. This is.
They'll see all of this on Friday. And the challenge here is with such a small school and a small staff, trying not to call out any individual teacher.
Yeah.
Because we have so many, you start to be able to I think I know who that is.
One out of- yeah.
And everybody knows who it's pointing at.
But some of these, nobody can really say it's not me because some of those numbers are pretty substantial.
They're huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and every adult, on Friday, the presentation will be every adult. This is not just teachers, even though we're talking about classrooms, but every
Yeah.
adult in this building is a teacher.
Yep.
Right. We're all responsible for this, not just our classroom teachers.
I'm curious, Brandolyn, what your gut reaction is on this, your feeling about.
I think
What
it
you
describes our school quite accurately.
Yeah.
I thought it
Good
makes
check.
sense to me,
Yeah.
what I observe every day. I think we are doing a lot well for a first year school, and we have a lot of room for growth. And to not think that would be silly of us.
This is simple term, non-negotiables.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
What's that, Jeff?
Well, she's been working on, things she can tolerate and things that there's no negotiating. This is what we do and this is who we are.
That's right.
Yeah, oh, thank you. That makes
Yeah.
sense
When you
to me.
when you let that drift, then you do that.
That's
So
right.
Now she's come up with a list of this, there's no exceptions to this, right? By having that data, now she can say, this is non-negotiable, right? This is what we're gonna do in this situation. We're all gonna do it wrong, do it consistently.
Yeah.
I guess that was my question too. I was thinking that somewhere there's got to be a line.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
And
absolutely.
it's
You
the
can't
old
just let
firm,
kids run around like crazy maniac.
it's
Doing
the
whatever they
anarchy.
want.
yeah, it's the old firm, fair and consistent.
Yes.
And if you don't have those three things, it all goes to hell pretty fast.
Yeah.
So that helps her.
This helps your
This is
cause. It's
working.
not just you, the data's showing what your
Exactly.
concerns are. Yeah.
And it's really easy for them to say, even though it's small and you guys are saying, well, they're not gonna think it's sale. They think it's the person down the hall. And it's
You-
really hard to convince them not.
Until it's like 89% of the time it's negative, they can't really say, oh,
Yeah.
look, I'm not,
But that's where Grambling can go in and say individually and say,
yeah.
this is you.
Where do you see yourself on this?
Yeah. And then, no.
But she'll be able to do that. And now she has, it's not just her setting it, it's outside people.
Yeah, so you've got some established parameters that are being
Is it-
objectively presented.
Yeah.
Is this opportunity offered every year? So you have,
With Michelle?
yeah,
Probably. I mean, I requested it.
it'd be
Yeah.
nice, it'd be nice for them to see
Michelle.
improvement.
Yeah,
Me
this
too,
would
I
have been
think
nice, wouldn't it?
this is fantastic, yeah.
Did we pay for this?
We will pay for this, yes.
Some things
Feel
are,
like it's worth.
I agree. Data.
Yeah,
like
because you can then
this.
say, that's why we should do it this way. Without them going, well,
It seems subjective, like, oh, Brandon, Miss Happy, be nice, but then it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
361% of the yeah,
Yeah, that's a significant number there.
yeah. And look at the yellows. We want greens, people. We're
Well, some
green. Our school
simple-
colors are green.
simple things too.
And this is tier 1 classroom observation. So like this one, materials accessible. So this is getting at like, are the teachers ready for transitions? Or are they wasting important time going and finding something, digging? And even as I am watching, right, you're like, why is this not all on your desk? Like you should be able to go from one thing to the next, boom,
Yes.
boom, boom. Not, oh, I need to go find this. Oh, I haven't, right?
Oh, I forgot to make.
Oh, I have to make copy. Oh, can somebody go make copy? Right. Like there's just, and some of it's training, it's exposure, it's experience, it's learning different ways to do things. I mean, like I said, every single one of these have so many variables, but there's lots of places we can improve. And this is, like you're saying, the data that can help us move in that direction.
Bell work at 0. And the other one was early finishers.
Mm-hmm.
Those are simple things to do.
Exactly.
And you talk about it as an administrator and they, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
But
whatever.
then when you come back and show them this, it's like, hey,
Ooh.
Mhm.
hey,
Yep.
this
right
is what
here.
I've been
Yeah.
saying.
Yep. This
Yeah.
is what we need.
Right.
So we'll use this to drive and then we'll track data. The other thing is we didn't do this year, but we'll do next year, right? Staff will be setting goals, students will be setting goals. So we'll become a goal-oriented, a data-driven school next year. We just didn't have anything to even start with this year. So that's partly just allowing everybody a time to set up, because as soon as you start setting goals, then you have to start setting accountability, and then people start getting cranky. Because then you have to do what you said you're going to do. We all know that. So this behavior report, I'm super excited. Michelle's coming Friday at, I think it's at 1:30. If anybody wants to come and meet Michelle and listen to her, she'll go through this with the staff. That's the other nice thing about it is she can be kind of the interface with this, and then I can come behind her and back it up. So again, I'm not necessarily the one saying all of this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this isn't me.
Right.
So this will be the step 1 of many steps as we build this school and this culture and what our expectations are for these students. And getting back to, I think, kind of where Dorothy, you were headed, like, absolutely, there is a point and a time for discipline, but we have to make sure we have allowed them the training to get to that point.
Yeah, well, and I think Joe answered my question too. I mean,
Yeah.
somewhere there's gotta, I mean, I'm not a teacher, but I
Yeah.
darn sure know that you have to set limits with kids.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, that's incredibly important.
And-
Or they never learn anything.
right.
Right.
The rule of thumb is, though, you don't want to have a ton of rules, maybe 2 to 3 rules in a classroom, and then you just build all these procedures and everybody knows, when can I get up? When do I do this? How do we, and then but when they're not known, and again, it's year 1, and you had all these new teachers that are overwhelmed, but I think every year it'll get tighter and tighter, and it'll
Yeah,
look
that's exactly right.
really solid.
And-
Yeah,
There's somewhere.
And this
Yeah.
loops us back directly to Observapalooza and why we were doing, because that takes us back to those remember the acronym, shared LUPE, shared learning, shared understanding, shared practices, shared expectations. That's part of this, right? And that's what Dorothy and Amy, you're saying, that's the procedures, shared understanding, shared practices. That equals procedures, right? That's why we do what we do when we do it. And we have to understand it. We have to understand the why. Because otherwise we just get grumpy too if people are just telling me what to do. Can I ask a question about a very specific example for you and what would be appropriate management of this example?
Mhm.
As we were walking to this board meeting, there's a first grader who's playing in the hallway. And he wasn't really playing. He was sort of standing in the hallway and
He was circling the
he was
post.
circling the post is what he was doing. And as we walked by, we attempted to get him back into the classroom. But he didn't go back into the classroom. He actually just walked down the hall and told us, no, he wasn't going to go back into the classroom.
Mhm.
And I'm curious what would be the procedure for that.
First of all, I would need to know the child because I know exactly who you're talking about, and that child has different behavioral expectations than others. And there's a plan and a purpose for that child that's different than perhaps other children. And that's where it gets complicated. And that's where that's part of the training of students understanding you're responsible for you, this child's responsible for them. That particular child, there should have been some conversation by a staff member that should have been able to redirect that child back in. But that particular kiddo, there's usually a walk involved, a conversation involved, a helping them understand next steps involved, and then that child will go back into the classroom. But is a staff member always available? That's the challenge also of a brand new school with a tiny number of staff. You guys were watching, I don't know if you saw it, that there was somebody up front, the front person was out at recess, the recess person was with this other child. Like, I don't know if you were watching that messaging come up. So that's what starts to happen is we all end up and I'm up here and I told them, I'm like, unless the building's on fire, don't bother me. And so they're not bothering me and they're trying to handle it. So, because I would often be the one that would go work with that child and say, okay, here we go. All right, we're going back into classroom because we're here to learn. Yeah.
And that is outlined, that expectation is outlined then in this child's IEP. And whoever would be involved in that is knowledgeable about it.
Yep.
But so, this child was defiant. And
Defiant to you, you perceived him as defiant, whether he
And
was
I would
actually
back you
defiant,
up. Very good.
was he?
yeah, no, I
Okay,
didn't.
so then we
I
need to
didn't
let,
I didn't imagine that.
you need to let, well, no, because I think we have to be very careful when you meet a child in the hallway, labeling him as defiant, you don't know what's going on with that kid.
But
So we need to be perceptive or we need to be careful that we don't jump to conclusions without,
Well, obviously I didn't do anything with the child.
No.
Which is, yeah, a good thing. Because I probably wouldn't have done this quite the same. But no, that was a legitimate observation.
sure.
Kim was just trying to talk with him and she does know the child. And he was defiant. And, I didn't say anything about it, but so how does that work? Can you not call their parents and say, come fetch these kids?
We can,
But that's not appropriate?
depends. There's variables that go into this I don't know that. Do we call the parents? Absolutely. Are there times we call the parents? Absolutely. Then we say, come get your kid. They're not appropriate at school today. Absolutely. There are times we do that.
Yeah, I was just wondering about that.
But this is, it is difficult, but so you saw it, you reported. The kid's being defiant, he's being whatever. Well, now that's where the virtues come in. So, and that's their teaching instead of teaching and discipline.
Instead of killing them?
It's hard for me.
Just saying.
I'm in here a lot, and if I see a kid in the hallways, I'm talking to them. What do you do?
Yeah.
And if they are defiant with me or whatever, then you start that process. We do because we know the process. You can't because you.
No, nor would you.
So,
That's not appropriate for me to
It's a sit-down conversation. I watched, I don't even know who the person was that's working with the autistic kids. I haven't seen her here before. But I was amazed at, this kid is screaming. And she's had steps that she's gone through and talking the kid through the procedure and explaining it to him. And it took a little bit, but pretty quick, then the kid was ready to go back to class. And so with this one, once it gets to the next person and they know the exact things that work with that kid, they walk them through those steps. One of them maybe parent. It may not be, it may be just, okay, what virtue are you not following?
Mhm.
Okay, let's discuss that. And sometimes it takes some time, but that there's a procedure as long as it gets to their person.
But yeah, it just makes sense that there's a procedure, you know, that's all.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
And, because there's a larger than normal percentage in the school of kids who need that kind of supervision. That happens when you start at charter grade. They're not getting their needs met over here, so we're gonna try there.
Mhm.
And so some of that's happened here. And their needs are getting met here because there's a lot of people that are working on this. So this kid had a bad, something was going on there, but it gets corrected. You know, it's that teaching portion. It's because a lot of times I want to just,
Yeah, old school.
It is hard not to do that.
Yeah.
It's very hard to step on.
They know the rules.
Yeah.
If you ask them,
I would think so.
"Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I'm not following whatever it is." They'll tell you. And then you want to follow it? Nope, I don't want to follow it today.
Yep, they're very
It's
honest
like
too.
he knew that he was not following
Yeah.
the expectations. Really.
Cause he had a smirk, but.
Yes.
And they're
Yeah.
gonna, and those, a lot of times those kids are testing every adult they come into, like,
Yeah.
oh, how far can I go with this one? Oh, that's great.
I know when we went to the Treasure Valley and Steve Lambert was the principal and one of the kids was testing the boundaries and they were established, so they were able, he was immediately, able to say, now, how does this fit our, our virtues and da-da-da, and the little guy could say it, but he clearly had no interest in, even on that day, this is in the spring and or in the, I guess, February, March of a well-established school, and the little guy wasn't in the mood to follow the expectation. So he said, you just constantly talk about boundaries, but they decide that day they don't want to play in the sandbox with everybody else.
And I think this is part of my question and my reason for bringing it up is I know at the very beginning of the school year, we had no clue what was hitting us.
Yeah.
Yes, he did not.
And you had to start and you had to get it figured out. You had to do the best that you could with what landed at the beginning of the school year. Now that we are almost at the end of year one, do you feel like you're getting a handle on building those systems or understanding what those systems are, and when students are funneled into the right place, an IEP or whatever it is, are you eventually able to set up a system that works for that child? And are you seeing that difference?
Definitely, yes. The better we understand our students, the better we can serve them, and the better we can proactively prevent the child's walking around the pool.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of knowledge, a lot of shared experiences, and all of us adults figuring out what is this? Because one of you in this room, or somebody, behavior is communication, right? So that kid is communicating to us something, but we have to figure out what is it you're trying to communicate. And that just takes time and experimental practices until you nail it. But we have students in this school who at the beginning of the year was that child. And now you don't see them in the hall anymore. And we have the systems in place, but it took time.
Yeah.
And are you optimistic that as that child moves up a grade, theoretically into the next classroom, that it won't be starting over at the very beginning, that will carry forward?
I am optimistic about that. I think because going back to Observapalooza, back to the study, because we are working to have school-wide expectations, a lot of the variability that happens in a typical school when you move from classroom to classroom won't be happening at Nevada Classical, because we are going to have the same, most of the procedures are the same.
Yeah.
So that's not going to change. Your teacher will look different, yes. Your content will be different, yes. How we go to the bathroom will be the same. How we sharpen our pencil will be the same. So and those kids that you're seeing in the hallway and those kids on IEPs, a huge number of them, procedure and routine is the key to success for those kids. And when we break procedure is when they end up in the hallway walking around the pipe. So we as a school have to be, because we know our percentage of these needs, kids that need extra it will continue to rise because we're serving them well. We then, as the adults, have to up our game. And we just have to be more procedural than any other school, perhaps, because that's what serves children best. And that's true for any child.
Yeah.
Right. We know that children thrive in structure.
Yep.
And no backslash and so.
Yeah,
Don't go.
like a home.
Oh, yeah.
The environment's unstructured. You do spend a while.
We have to retrain when they come in.
Yeah.
But the stronger we are as a staff and the more structured we are, then that training decreases, right? The time it takes, because, and I will be the first to admit, we confuse our children every single day because Renee and I line up our kids different at recess than they line up in the classroom because we never stopped and had that conversation. When I say line up, what do you mean when you say line up? And we have battled, and it was not until this is rookie move. Renee and I said, why did we not just use classroom number orders? Because the classrooms have numbers. Like, it didn't dawn us until 2 weeks ago. Like, every time you line up at Nevada Classical, you line up number order, right? Now our lunchtime recess has decreased significantly, but it took us 6 months and 2 grown women standing there totally frustrated by 5-year-olds to right? So it's the stronger we get in our procedures, the stronger it will be for our students. But it just takes time.
Can I follow up with something you said at the start of this conversation? Talking about this one particular example, you said, well, there's, this child has different behavioral expectations. Can you elaborate on that? Because that sounds bad to me, right? If you've got a kid who is behaving, following the rules, sitting in class, from his perspective, the student's allowed to go wander the halls. And then maybe this is where it comes to the, like you were saying, compliance to character. But then if I'm that student behaving myself in class, I'm thinking, well, why can't I go wander the halls?
Oh, I hear you. I know. So this is the challenge. Again, this is the challenge when we start thinking about fair and equal, what that means, not theologically or theoretically, but boots on the ground. So what you need and what I need may be 2 very different things. And that's okay. And we have to teach those around us. Brandolyn needs something different than Hank. And so Hank is going to get this. Brandolyn's going to have to do that. And that's okay. But we still have high expectations for Hank, and we have high expectations for Brandolyn. And we still expect the same virtues to be held. It might look a little bit different. It might sound a little bit different, but we still have high expectations. And it's going to look different because you and I are not the same.
Because I'm thinking, if we're in the classroom, I would try to test that.
Of course you would, and that's what we have.
I'm going to go under the halls.
You're 100% correct. And then that comes back to that. Who are we? It's the classic bell curve, right? It's going to work for 90%, and then we have the highs and the lows, or the tails, however you want to label it, the not yets, the overcomers, whatever you want to call them. And you're going to have those kids that are perfectly fine in the bell curve, and then, because I would be that kid too, like, I'm going to try. And then that's like Joe is saying, that's the conversation with that child, knowing that child better. You can have the right conversation to redirect them. And that's where this positive stuff really comes in, because I want to be saying, Hank, I am so proud of you for doing X, Y, and Z. Tim, you are doing such a fantastic job of doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Amy, keep up the great work, because then you start to recognize I am being seen doing the right thing. Because the reason we start to do what the kids are doing is because we're like, they're getting more attention than I am, and I want that attention.
That's right.
Right? So that's why this whole positive thing is so important, that we're showing kids, you do the right thing, we're going to see you, and that is awesome. And that's what we want you to do. The right thing for you, because the right thing for me behaviorally, and it's a mind bender. And I have, trust me, spent hours bending my mind, because I too come from, I think, where a lot of you are coming from, like, no, you yank up that kid and you take care of it. But that is not true. That is what I'm learning. And that's this disabilities and classical education, why we all need to read this book. Because when we start thinking like, ooh, that is some dangerous thinking. What I need to be thinking is, What is best for Tim? How do I move Tim to his best potential? What is my potential? How do I move that? What does that look like? When is it the same and when is it not appropriate to be the same? And when is that okay? Tough questions, because we're talking about individuals. One size does not fit all in education, rarely, if ever.
One thing, just an observation to kind of go with what you said. So from the beginning of the year till now, the kids know. The kids know that kid
Yes, they do.
has a specific need.
Yep.
And now they help that.
Yes.
Mhm.
I've watched it numerous times when one of those kids has an issue and another kid knows how to solve it. And they're kind of like, don't worry, I've got it. And I've had, you know, because I'm interviewing kids for the books and stuff. Well, another kid will come with them to help them. And because they know that that kid's not gonna be able to communicate, or they're not gonna be, and they're so compassionate with the other kid. They weren't.
Right. It's a process.
They're learning
are
some
now.
character.
And things that happen, if you'll see one in the hallway, and another kid's in the hallway, and I'll ask this, but then the other kid will go, oh, no, that's so-and-so, and it's okay, right? Whatever. They know. As
And they-
kids, they're very perceptive about that. So they understand there's different rules for each of them now, and they accept it. Most from what I've seen. There's some that aren't, well, he got to, you know, so I ought to be able to get to. It's not happening as much as it did.
And you'll see more of that at the beginning of the year
Yeah,
versus the
Why
end.
we're And there are like this, like there are lines which are not crossed. For example, a student physically hits another child. Like, I don't care what kid you are. That's a conversation immediately with me. Parents are called. They're sent home, right? Like, there are lines in the sand that we are like, absolutely not. And again, that goes back to every kid knows that. Like, there are things that you don't get away with here. But there is lots of space for wiggle room for the kid. And that's what, like Joe's saying, we have one child in one of our classrooms that is dynamically different, and that classroom is completely immune to it now. And they just go on teaching and learning, and this child just kind of does this child's thing. And that child too is teaching and learning in their own respect. But the kids know. I think it bothers us as adults way more than it ever bothers the children. The children just kind of adapt into it, and they're like, yeah, that's so-and-so, we know, he's fine, she's fine. And like Joe says, they'll come alongside and help like I've never seen. I watch it in the playground every day, like, holy cow. And that goes back to character, what we're teaching, kind and respectful, right? It's messy. Education is messy.
And it's messier than it used to be.
Way messy.
We need a lot more grace for teachers, because remember, financially, we need to shove as many kids as we can in there. 22 minimum, and then you've got kids that are so much more complex than they used to be, and that's the fact.
And the diversity.
Reasons why, diet stuff, I don't know. There's 100 reasons why, but there's a lot on teachers.
The diversity in the class, academically, you have children in our second grade classroom. We have students who cannot read to students who are reading off the charts, right? Fourth, fifth, sixth grade level readers. We have students behaviorally who can sit still for hours, and we have some who cannot literally sit still for 2 seconds. And we have culturally different. We have kids who are coming here from single parent, low socioeconomic, every disadvantage, every at-risk characteristic, and to those kids who come with every advantage, original parents, well-educated parents. We have that teacher has every kid in their classroom, and they're trying to manage that every day. And that is a lot to manage behavior, academics, and culture in a classroom. You have the entire world in, like Amy's saying, in 22 students. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay, that was kind of
Oh, we're doing it, guys. We're doing it. Year one. So this behavioral report, we will walk through the staff on Friday. All of this information will influence year 2 handbook, discipline practices, all of it. And hopefully we'll just start to see more and more green, and we'll decrease the reds or the not presents. but it's a lot. And Michelle, she told me that as a first year school, like we are doing pretty darn good. Like this is incredible that we have this much good happening in a first year school. So that, like I said, I think having our mission, having our knowing who we are when we stood up, those help us move into success. And we just keep chipping away. Academic excellence, virtues, and civic responsibility. We just keep chipping at how that defines who we are and how we behave every day.
This on the budget for next year?
It's in the budget under training. Yes. We did incorporate that in. Okay, any other questions? That was some good deep conversation, you guys.
Good stuff. Excellent report too.
And one side note, FYI, we have a group of parents. I didn't even talk about Parent Academy. I totally forgot. We finished Parent Academy. We have a group of parents who want to have a book club, you guys.
Oh,
And book club on hard book. Like they want to do the disability book I'm talking about. They want to do the Roots of America. Like they're like, we'll join a book club with you. You guys, that's huge.
that's awesome.
That's cool, right? That's the culture we're building. So if you all want to be part of the book club, you'll be invited. I'll let you know. We don't know. I haven't figured out the details of that yet, but that made my heart very, very warm when these parents said they want a book club. I don't know if that happens often.
No. Okay, moving on to D, update on public event to be held at the Seventh Canyon Ranch scheduled for July 18th. Lisa and Joe.
So I've already mentioned to this crew that you need to put this on your schedule, block out July 18th so you can be there. And it will be at the Seventh Canyon Ranch. Thank you, Joe. That's confirmed. And everybody is responsible for bringing a raffle item. And based on recommendation and discussion, I think that simplest thing will be to just stick with the raffle. But let's get as many raffle items as possible. Bring 2. Find a friend. Have your friend bring them. And Brandolyn said we can bring them to the school anytime for storage.
We will find a place to stick them until July
As many
18th.
raffle items as you can possibly get.
Bring as many raffle items as you can possibly get. We'll try to make the raffle as big as we can.
Maybe just label it super clear, like end of year raffle or something,
Yeah.
just so that if it gets left on my desk, I'm not like, wow, what a great gift. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, don't just leave it.
Yeah, make
But
sure you
we'll
label
have a
it.
spot for them.
Yeah,
We
we'll
can
create
figure
a
that out.
spot.
I mean, I can keep them in my house.
No, we can do it here. We have space, so.
And we should have some for kids too, right? Not just
Yeah.
adults.
Yeah, because we should have some kids things, some family things. If you ever go to Festival of Trees, think about the trees that lots of things get, lots of money gets spent on purchasing the trees that have the exciting things underneath. This is the kind of raffle that we're going for. Whatever various audiences would put a raffle would be worth them buying a raffle ticket and entering it into this raffle. We'll just have a table. We'll put all the raffle items out with some buckets and it will be fairly easy to manage. There are still some outstanding questions. There's a group of folks who have agreed to assist with this. And we haven't nailed down some of the decisions, including the time that the event should be. I'd be curious what folks think is best. I had recommended 3 till 7 because that lets people come after morning things, before evening things.
Cooler weather, maybe.
Cooler weather.
How much do you want them to drink?
I think it's chipping too long.
It's a question.
Yeah, Dorothy says it's too long.
4 to 7, you think?
You know,
3 to 7, well.
3 till
So
6.
Drink it an hour.
or
3
3
till
to 5
6.
or 3 to 6, or, I don't know, I just think that.
it doesn't work that way, when they come, they do not want. I'm serious.
Well, I mean, that was just my opinion. I'm not saying they've got to
I'm just,
take,
no, I'm just saying,
you know, and just to be honest, I can't be there.
we're okay with them
Darn it.
staying for a while because when they get there, all of a sudden the cameras are out, they're looking at the ponies, they're over in the creek, they're in the mist. I mean, they want to hang out and that's what's going to be nice is let them have a little time for that.
Yeah.
So if you're feeding them dinner, if you say we're gonna eat at 5 or 6, and maybe start an hour ahead or so.
4 to 7.
It stays light till
Mhm.
8:30 or 9 o'clock.
Right.
And if we are serving alcohol, which we say we're gonna do, right, then they're gonna hang around. And that doesn't hurt it. Eat it then. So I would say 3 hours is probably minimum time. I mean, we're not gonna kick them out.
Right.
They can always stay later. We just don't want them showing up
Just
at 9 o'clock. I
Yeah,
think
do you
the
have an
other-
overnight for that?
Hey, last one, the
Real-
barn, shut the lights off.
Yeah.
The
sleeping
other
bags
real
come out.
question is it a thing where they have to buy a ticket in order to come and then they're served a meal as part of that? Or do we have a food truck there and they have to go purchase their own food? But I would assume at that point, we'd have to guarantee a minimum for the food truck, like we'd have to cover
Mhm.
whatever other, whatever food purchases we did.
Yeah, I think you
Hmm.
charge $50 a ticket when we provide food and they buy their own cocktails. And, it's easier that way because that way they can go up to the line and eat what they want to eat. They wander through the items and they make bits. You don't talk much. I mean, you may stop sometime, thank everybody and thank your donors and things like that. And spend a lot of time on that. But there, people that'll go just don't want to just sit around and talk. It's more like an afternoon picnic kind of thing, I think, is the way I envision it, because I think that would go. It's different than what they do when they go get jammed in a gym at the Boys and Girls Club,
Mhm.
right? And this is going to be relaxing.
Is it the Star Catering or something like that? Is that what you're anticipating?
Well, I
Something like
asked
that.
the Bass Club, I had to go out. They don't have a license to do it, so I'm not going on Plan B and C, so I've got a couple of these.
Okay.
So Las Brisas is one, they cater tons of weddings and they do real nice buffet. Pine Lodge is probably gonna be my next ask because they're right there and
Mhm.
their grandson attends the school.
Oh, nice.
So I think driving in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I thought about that maybe. It's getting really down to crunch time for getting selected.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't know what you're thinking. We have seating for about 250. So,
I think that'll be plenty. I think that
Oh, yeah, more than 20.
if we can set it at the right time, people can come and go and they won't sit down and stay seated, aside from eating.
yeah.
It's like, why don't you revisit that time? You didn't decide, so try to get that nailed down.
Yeah.
What time does people want to do this, so we can like get specific.
Only reason I'm thinking later, because it's so hot, but then it might be snowing too. 4 to 7 is, I mean.
So, but at our place,
something, 4.
the shade hits that lawn starting 4:30.
Yeah.
So if you get them there at 3, kind of everywhere they're gonna sit to eat. I mean, there's spots that are shaded, but it's
Okay.
almost completely shaded, especially right now.
Okay.
So that makes a difference.
So 3 to 6, and then if people want to stay later, they'll can hang out, or is that what?
Yeah.
Everybody-
I mean, there'll be
3 to
people
6,
Just put it in a little bit better here.
hanging around. And if it rains, then we'll set up in the bar. So it's.
Okay.
So if we're gonna draw the raffle there, we draw the raffle at 6 and then it's, officially over.
People can do
That's a
whatever.
good conclusion.
And then how are we getting the word out?
Yeah. Just had a meeting.
Andrew, you're not on mute, buddy. There he goes.
Are you doing raffle or silent auction?
Raffle.
Silent. I thought we
We've
were
decided
silent. but I
that
didn't-
raffle is probably the easiest way to go. Because then people just buy tickets.
You just buy tickets and.
And they
stick
put
them.
it
Oh,
in
okay.
Gives everybody an equal chance to everything
Yeah,
without
yeah.
really noticing a
trend.
trend or a
A
certain
show off.
family gets
Yeah,
10 of the silent auctions.
Yeah.
I like that.
it makes it more accessible for people.
Right.
Somebody can buy $20 worth of raffle tickets and somebody
Yeah.
else can buy $200.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
Still win.
So,
And then
um,
how do we get the word out?
So I will create a flyer, but obviously we need to have these details ironed out before we can do that. I think we can start with save the date. I'd like to create a save the date that goes home to families and backpacks that's just printed, and then we can
Yes.
also put it on social media. We should also send it to our donors
Mhm.
directly, and then an invitation with more detail. But again, if we're going to be selling tickets, we'll have to figure out how to navigate selling tickets in particular, because the school won't be in session available for people to come buy tickets.
Well, the school will be open all summer. I mean, I'm here, Renee's here, Cynthia's here, full time starting July 1. So we could put, if you need to, like, say, ticket sales at the school between 10 and 2. Like, there'll be somebody here all summer. Like those core hours, you know.
Yeah.
We won't necessarily be here from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock every day, but yeah, so you could probably say like ticket sales at the school could be 10 to 2, Monday through Thursday, something like that, Monday through Friday.
QR code online.
Yeah, and then could we use donors choose, or what's that we use for the art auction? Can we use that? What was that?
It's
So
still up
long
there.
ago.
I know, it's still up there.
Something on the webpage
Yeah.
where
They can purchase.
Click.
Purchase your tickets here.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
That's
purchase
brilliant.
your food
We can
and
use
That
that.
would be the easiest way to do it.
Ask
Yeah.
your mom how we do the sales for the Lincoln Day dinner.
Yeah.
Cause that's
Oh, there
all
you
online,
go.
and it's just processed through Square.
That's easy. That's easy.
and just
What's that
spit
called?
out a spreadsheet. with-
Well, she uses something where it's already
Zeffy.
streamlined.
Zeffy. Yeah, Zeffy. See if we can use Zeffy. Because
Yeah.
we already have that all set up.
It's already.
So
a-
it already goes into the right account, all
Perfect.
that jazz.
You can have it on the website.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And you send the QR
which would be
code.
nice. Send the QR
Yeah,
code,
Zeffy.
send the link.
Very nice.
Then you're not worried about printing tickets.
And you get it on social media too.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was wondering about, maybe Eventbrite. We should create a Facebook event
Event.
and send that out to people.
And they can help with all
But
that.
again, we need the details sorted. I'm not against $50 a ticket for adults. I think if we want people to come and bring their kids, that's a lot to also bring their kids. So if we could do like 25 per kid.
Or even two.
And
Or
Yeah, let's go
keep it
cheaper for
cheap.
kid. They
Yeah.
don't need as
Yeah.
much.
And then are you charging the teachers or the staff? If you build in enough buffer, then
The
Mhm.
50 is enough buffer.
then you've got donors that have given you 25,000, you pay for it.
Ooh,
So it's, if you look at it as, you know, we're not trying to make a ton of money here. It's a beginning thing to just have an annual event that's kind of to get
maybe
started.
it's a
You can
suggested
build-
donation. or
The
something.
first one, you may not want to. You want to show appreciation for this. Have
Did-
donated.
Yeah, this is why I kind of kept coming back to doing the food truck and letting people buy their own food. And it wouldn't be a fundraiser then, other than the raffle. It would be more of that celebratory piece. But there are just a lot of logistics to consider when asking people to buy tickets.
We've had,
I like the
We've-
food truck.
yeah, we've had brides do that said, I want food truck and he'll do the buffet. And they said, no, I want him serving out of the truck. It takes forever when you have 200 people.
That's true.
So it's,
Mhm.
like
Logistics.
Pedro, he doesn't charge very much. Right? So if you, I mean, especially for this, he make it maybe $15 to $18 for buffet style. And he'll be right there to keep loading it up and make it really good if he's even available. But I think if you just build in at least enough there for your ticket sale to cover prices for the staff. Like you said, kids would be 10 or something like that. But I don't think you want them, especially having to pay while they're up there. That's good.
Yeah, that's awkward. Do it ahead of time.
But it doesn't have to be a fancy, it
Recycle it.
doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
fancy sit down one.
No.
Watch either. It's-
Yeah.
It's, you know, if you, like Pedro, they just serve tacos and there's different kinds of meats and chips and it's really easy and people love it and that works for me. That's probably gonna be the least expensive unless we can get Casey to donate. And I don't know if they will cater for that that's. I was hoping the Bass Club would just make us a big paella
Mm-hmm.
and a salad and they still might. I mean, we might be able to get away with that without their license.
Well, it's a nonprofit private event.
Yeah, I mean, they do that for the Morgan Stanley dinner every year.
Yeah, they do. They have to get special licensing like for the customers.
Mhm.
But they just had a memorial service there and it's at their place. So like if it's at our place, if we cook, I sometimes. I don't know if it's an issue. I don't know. No, our son Thomas is in the Bass Club. He would be cooking. And his son goes here. It's a
private event.
Yeah, it's
private event.
I don't
We
think
are
it's-
charging.
being on the Spring Creek Lions Club, we provide a lunch during the, what do they call it, the trail trials and it's for, they have handicapped kids that ride horses and that fundraiser, the trail trial, it would go to the man mule race.
Hmm.
And then the Lions Club provides a lunch. We've never had a meeting or anything for that. We've put hot dogs, hamburgers, had
Are
salads.
people buying it?
No, we're giving it away.
This one, people would pay. That's, I think.
That's
Maybe if
the-
you did a donation instead of you called it a donation instead of a cost or something. 'Cause I've seen that before where they're like
They can
suggested
careful-
donation.
Gray areas.
Yeah, suggested donation for
But
food.
In consideration, you guys, how are you handling the bar?
That's gonna
If
be,
you're
they
having
have to,
alcohol,
I think
you're
they
gonna
have
need a
to,
Special events license.
for
We
that
have a
piece of it.
Special events license. We don't have a bar license, but you can get a 1-day bar license, or we hire a bartender that's licensed to. So we have,
And they pay for that.
I
They
don't
pay
know.
for the drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Santa
yeah.
would have to
But-
purchase their drink.
Yeah.
If you're gonna
Their
have,
water.
yeah, if you're gonna serve alcohol, you better have somebody serving it that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, that's a huge liability.
Yes.
There's a food truck, it's not a food truck, but it's called Pour Decisions. And it serves non-alcoholic and alcoholic like slushies and stuff. That might be an option.
there's
for
a
the
few,
decision.
of those out, so.
Well, like Joe says, they have an events license. You could just get a bar, somebody that has a bar card and knows what they're doing. I mean, that's okay too. You you'd have to be careful.
We've done stuff like for the fire department, we bartend, we don't have anything. We don't do it.
But that's different, Joe. I mean, it really,
It's the same, some non-profit organizations. This is, I mean, I think we want to do it right.
yeah, and I mean, I don't know, but I have, just because of owning a bar, I have some strong worries there.
Yeah.
I don't think people are gonna come out there to get hammered. They're gonna have a cocktail.
That would be my concern. And
Driving
then
home.
driving home.
Yeah, it's not that the intent would be there. I mean, I agree with you, but I mean, you just have to provide for that unlikely occurrence. So you want to make sure that you've hired somebody that's a professional that knows how to, I mean, I don't know what you plan on serving. That's another consideration. Are you gonna free pour things? Are you gonna serve beer and wine and long drinks out of a can so that it's all pre-done? I mean, those are considerations that you're gonna have to make, right? But it's
You've done plenty out there to have a good idea. But
Yeah, I mean, I think that we have a ton of leftover alcohol that was donated after a wedding. That we asked if we could use it for this, and they said definitely. So other than beer, we have wine and all kinds of stuff, drinks. That was a donation by Michael Church after the wedding. He said, keep it and use it for fundraising. So we have that in place. So we thought, well, that's a good way to make some money. But I mean, it's up to the board what type of event you want to have. I'm just telling you what we typically get to do with this, or what we've seen.
Well, it's at your place, you know what works. Just, has to be, there's just need to be cautious and do what's gonna be easy.
Yeah, one of the things we require is event insurance, so whatever comes out there purchases event insurance. And it's for that size, it's about $150. It names us as additional insured. We have insurance. But when it comes out, it's a policy names us as additional insured. So that's in case one of the guests does something. Our other insurance, in case we do something that harms them, and yours in case they do something. Unsure offense. So that would be the only.
So based on this conversation, we're thinking 3 till 6. And we'll sell tickets for people to purchase to come to the event. Not sure how I guess we'll just maybe go on an honor system or something, figure out.
Well, they can pay that day, right? Or can they? Can
Sure.
they show up and pay, or how does that
You
work?
need a number for food. I mean, we need to be able to tell whoever's doing it, expect 200.
Yeah, that's tough. You have to have some kind of a.
And some don't
Baseline.
show up, and then some come that you don't expect, and
And,
lots of stuff.
my one data point for this is the Lincoln Day dinner, but like, we don't know how many people are there until a couple days before. And even
Yeah.
then, we don't.
Yeah,
There's a lot of guesswork in that. And that's pretty nice because all those ticket sales are online, so we have a list of names. So we know who's paid, who's gonna be there, but nobody buys tickets till the very last minute. And then calls you in the morning of and says, okay, I still get tickets.
yeah.
Can you ask me
Oh,
where people to my table?
Exactly.
That's, yeah.
It's logistically challenging.
mhm.
So I think prepaid tickets is kind of critical for.
We pay tickets and then we'll do raffle. And we'll just have some music playing through speakers.
Is there are there gonna be any presentations or any kind of formal?
Grandolin's gonna do a speech.
No, she's
20
not.
24 minutes.
We all get to get up for 10 minutes.
This is
Yeah.
a lot
I
of
will.
notice that I'm giving.
If you want me to, I will.
Short,
It will be short.
very short.
And perhaps it may need to be given more than once. If people really are coming and going, like an early version and a later version. So.
Just maybe something that closes it off at 6, then it's
Yeah.
kind of like bye-bye, and then you got the stragglers.
Yeah, and if we do the raffle there, we do that at 6. That's
There you go, that's when you,
good to kick things off.
yeah, it's
Sure.
like, thank you.
You got lots of time to practice.
I can do
And
that.
lots of time.
Yeah.
I don't
Here
mind.
we go.
Okay.
I can be the face if you want me to be the face.
You are the face. You are the face.
I try not.
You are. Okay, anything else on the public event?
Nope. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. 10, public comment. Any public comment? Okay, 11, board member reflections. Any reflections or things that need to be on the next agenda?
Yeah, what is our next agenda? Because you guys didn't give me anything.
Well, we talked
What did you
about
tell- I
the
didn't write
finance committee,
Let's
but I
make
don't
a
know.
decision if we want to stand the finance committee up.
Next board meeting, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so finance conversation. I'll do something about general conversation.
Okay,
And by
then-
then-
possible action.
Yeah,
or
then we'll
whatever.
have possible action.
Yeah, and then
This
by
is the
then,
21st.
Randall and you, I and Mark should have met, and
Okay.
maybe with Cam again, we should have a better handle on things.
Yep, we'll be in a better spot this time next month.
So it's gonna be on the 21st of
The
July.
21st of July. Mhm.
Or June, oh, I'm in July, never mind.
June.
Lord.
Don't,
I just
don't
skipped-
rush it.
16th. How does that sound? Is that right?
June 16th
Yes.
Yep.
at 2.
Tuesday.
Okay. And, well, school will be out.
Yes, school will be out. And we do, just a
Staff
reminder, we only have, the board only needs to meet quarterly, so And what I've been told, most boards don't meet in July and December. So that's something as we're getting kind of our feet underneath us. I mean, I love seeing all you people every month, but we
All you
could,
people. You could take a July off.
yeah, that's something to be
Let's see
thinking
what-
about.
Put
Right,
that on the
'cause you
count,
may-
put that on the agenda.
Yeah, you may have some things that
Board
we need
meetings.
to look at in July, but if not.
What
maybe.
board meeting is our annual meeting? This is in our bylaws.
Oh, is it August or September?
I thought it was July, so that
That
tells
was
you.
July.
I thought it was
Oh,
July
That's
too.
what I was thinking,
Yeah.
one that we can't invite.
No,
It's at the retreat.
and there may,
Yeah.
maybe we call it the July 1 retreat.
Oh, wrong folder.
Oh, this is not written in stone. You don't have to.
I think it is.
Depending on what's in the bylaws.
Right, but if it's the specific dates in that.
Yeah, it just might say annual meeting. Got those in somewhere.
Search for July.
Oh, it's keying in on my writing, I guess. That's weird.
Let's
Why
see, I've
isn't
got
it
it
not
right here.
searching? What am I doing wrong? Well, that's not working the way. Let's see if we can just find it. What, members, officers.
Regular meetings. No fewer than 6 per year, special meetings.
That's a profile.
Oh, I was just trying to search in this PDF.
Just click on ask profile.
It's right here.
Committees.
Like this.
Always looking generally.
I remember it being some of them.
Let's get it. You have to,
In this
Minutes.
document.
in this,
Standing.
Like this.
in this stuff. Oh, wants you to attach it.
That's too much of a commitment, co-pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could open.
Here we
There
go.
you go.
Here we go. Here we go. We got it. Maybe. Let me make this smaller. Make this bigger. Can you see? Special meeting.
I don't. They said regular meetings. I remember it though. Anyway,
I thought it was July.
say the board's plan,
I thought we
determining
decided July because it's before the school year starts.
same. What would it be under? Work of the board?
Well, if it's not in there, you can put it anytime you want.
That's right. But I swear it was
I-
in there.
Think it,
Oh, speaking of annual disclosure, Dorothy, Kim, and
Mine's,
Kate, make sure you guys fill that out and give that to me before you leave,
mine's,
so I can turn it in.
You already do yours?
mhm.
Nice.
It's up to you tomorrow.
Authority.
I have 2 quick reflections.
I don't know where it is, guys.
Type in July, see if July pulls up. I don't know, maybe we got rid of the actual date and just decided, but I remember.
It may be in the policies and procedures instead of the bylaw.
Yeah.
Okay, you give us your things and I'll keep looking.
Okay.
I'll keep looking through.
So I really wanted this letter from the board to be elevated to go home to the families. So.
Oh,
I
right
made
here.
it Very
Look.
nice.
Right.
July of each year.
Which one is it? What number?
2.4.
In
Okay, and that's
policy.
right where I was in
Yeah.
July. Yep.
And so my hope is that if you can actually give 10 minutes and fold several papers in half, we can get these done. I have return address labels for us. I also printed these really beautiful logo stickers to close them because I want
Beautiful.
I think we're gonna have to look them anyway to make sure they seal, but I really want the families to know that we didn't just put some sentiment into Chat GPT and then, let them feel thanked.
Yeah, that's.
But that we've actually talked about it several times as a board and we put some effort into sending this message home to them. So I have all the goodies here and appreciate your help.
You can help. We
You
can.
know, break them out and.
Yeah,
pack
I did. I
Send them
did.
all
I
away.
was gonna put a
Let's
photo
finish
in
our
here, but
meeting.
We're not doing the photo,
Okay.
but these are the envelope.
Perfect.
And then my hope,
I
Brandolyn,
had
is
it done
that
at
someone
50.
can do the addresses. be
So
drafting.
we
We
locked
can do
in the
that.
next meeting. So any other board reflection?
I have one more. I'm wondering, Brandolyn, if it would be possible to get the board meeting documents a little bit earlier to give us a
I
little
will
more
try,
time.
yes. That's on me.
Even if it's Sunday night. Yeah, that would be really helpful.
Yep, I will try. Yes, I know. It's
Thank
just
you.
the days go
I
so
know it's
fast,
hard.
Yes, they do. Time's going fast.
but I can do better.
And then we locked in the next board meeting date. What was it, June 16th?
Mhm.
Sorry, forgot. Okay, so
So we can adjourn the meeting. right?
adjourn the meeting and then do another reflection after we adjourn. That's
Yeah.
not, okay, so let's,
And stamp
let me
envelopes.
tell you what time. That was part of what I had to do better. We will adjourn this meeting at 5:04 PM. And then we